Let's kick it old school! Old school essentials. The further adventures of the Thunderous Fury.
Time for the recap.
Well, we opened with the wedding. We closed with the funeral, or two, or three. Who knows when those other people actually died? I think they were walking around as undead. But the ring is almost home. The wedding is almost finalized. And everybody fires at the sister. Attempted blindness, attempted backstab. Karn drinks his potion of heroism because he knows there's a fight coming. Clindock finally says, I do, and puts on the ring and joining him to the family. Basil Essex decides that Clindock needs a little extra help and goes up and starts proposing to him and rubbing all over his body. Oh, right, it's the statue. Clindock becomes invisible, giving the favorite murderous sister no target except, well, all of the rest of us. So she nails Basil Essex for taking away her favorite target, and he manages to save versus death. Yay. Round two, still trying to take down the sister. Got several hits. Clindock discovers that, yes, once he is in the family, he literally cannot harm her as he fires on her, and the arrow that should have hit twists and goes aside. And Teresa, after missing with her musket the first time, goes up and stabs the lady. Basil Essex, being a smart guy, puts an acorn in his mouth that's going to come into effect very shortly. And then there's the third round of still trying to take out the bitch and failing, which allows her to get off a chain lightning and drop three of our people. Felix, Basil, oh yes, Teresa, all go down. But fortunately, we managed to finally off her, which takes us out of combat so that we can stabilize the dying and start sending them out because there's a bigger fight coming indeed. Unfortunately, in the midst of this, Janelle has tried to take over the Wagonbow legacy and failed and is dying thereby of the curse. Karn decides that he is the better man, or at least he is the sacrificial man, and picks it up and attempts to take it over. And indeed, he is the better man, for he manages to attune Hewitt. Unfortunately, attuning Hewitt leads him to reveal that there is all sorts of incoming mayhem, as there is something evil and nasty in the greenhouse, and even more evil and nasty coming in to ambush us. We set up for ambush on the first big evil and nasty, which turns out to be a minotaur. Unfortunately, because of the surprise on trapping the area, he goes down fairly quickly. Well, of course, that means that there's another one coming in. Great fun for everyone. As the stabilized characters are attempting to get out, we find out that the so-called brother and his fighting golem are coming in from the other direction. Because it isn't enough that we're attacked just from the greenhouse, we have to be surrounded. Yes, indeedy. So part of the party sets up to take out him, while part of the party is still fighting against things that come through the greenhouse. The next thing through the greenhouse turns out to be some sort of trollish creature. Who knows? Which again goes down fairly shortly and easily, since we knew it was coming. Karn, interestingly enough, in the meantime, has managed to summon some strange creatures who turn out to like bugs, which is good because there are sure as heck enough of them running around. And even though they're technically evil, they are treating Karn as their master and not attacking anyone else. So finally, after taking care of the troll, or whatever the heck that was with the seaweed-looking thing, we decide to, Karn decides to take the fight to the real source, yanks open the greenhouse door, and runs in after the demon. Torjohn, of course, follows his idol who has rescued him from slavery in the Underdark, as the part of the party is holding off the uncle and the fighting golem at the other door. Karn figures out he can use the hand in several other ways. For example, he actually manages to stick spiders on one of the enemies.
That was his hat.
The hat of the spider god. So we get close to this real enemy, who's an 8-foot-tall humanoid with horns and strange eyes. And we indeed find out what the strange eyes do is one of them starts to glow, and two of the strange animal followers turn into large bugs. Karn, through his special link to the estate, also sees at least 10 ghouls headed inbound. I mean, heck, if we didn't have enough to do with, one ghoul took care of Clintock, and now we've got 10 of them, plus a demon, plus a boxing golem, plus, yeah, you get the idea. The next round, the demon turns Torjohn into a tree. So the demon can turn people into trees, the demon can turn people into insects. It can also, of course, attack at the same time as it claws at Karn and does damage. Karn decides to heroically save Torjohn and manages a remove curse on him, turning him back from a tree. But that hardly matters, as the next round the demon decides to attack Torjohn and basically tears him in half. In the meantime, Orion has fairy fired the demon in an attempt to make it a little easier to hit, which turns out to be important later. Orion then the next round hits him with a dart, and it turns out instead of getting larger, the demon turns into a 9-inch tall shrieking statue. So unfortunately harder to hit, but also easier to kill. We go to another round of the boxing demon, finally taking it down, and another round with the demon, who has been chewed up a bit and decides to teleport away. Unfortunately, the fairy fire goes with it, it's visible, and a single round of searching manages to find it. In the meantime, Karn manages to turn the undead, who look at him with a very irritated look, but they troop back out, and thereby once again saving all of our lives, because 10 goals on top of that thing would be insane.
The potion of heroism was the only reason he was able to turn them.
That potion of heroism saved the day in more than one way. It saved your hit points. It gave you the levels needed to turn the undead. Really. Sucker was amazing. Finally, after tracking him down, you manage to get a final hit on the demon, and he dies, only to discover that his death is going to screw everything, as a hole appears where he dies, and it starts getting larger and sucking in the entire estate. Fortunately, slow enough for us to make our way to escape. It's a good thing we did, because if you thought 10 ghouls were bad, no, it was the Colossus coming after us that was coming next. But fortunately, it is being pulled into the hole as the demon escapes reality. So we're all slowly dragging ourselves out of the Wagonbow Estate. The brother, who is suddenly very, very confused, says he's not a brother at all. He's a merchant, and he doesn't know why he was acting as, the brother of the Wagonbows. Our limping-ass party steps out of the Wagonbow Estate and starts heading back to Armar and Teresa's house, only to find that there are a couple of guards there. The guards who say that there's a massive bounty on the heads of, well, all of us. Of course, we tell them, oh no, black magic users, those were the Wagonbows up there. And the guard says, oh, you mean that one, pointing at Clintock, who is indeed wearing his Wagonbow duds and is indeed the last remaining Wagonbow by right of marriage. We are trying to convince the guards otherwise, but it may not be a fun night. Excuse me, it will be an even less fun night. And so, what? Clintock, congratulations on getting married. No congratulations on being widowed, but it happened in what? Literally under a minute of getting married? I mean, love them and leave them, but that's insane.
The seaweed-like creature is a marrow.
Oh, it's a marrow.
Okay,
So
yeah,
was
you guys
Boulder
fought
and
the
it-
Frost Minotaur, the ogre who was dressed up in Wagonbow clothes, and the
That was
marrow.
over. Then Karn chased off the ghouls, and we killed the demon before we had to fight the Colossus, which would have been a squish event.
Yeah. And you did see one of the statues animate as the skeleton guard bow before it, and then it went back to being a statue and the skeleton ran away. Synodog tried to put the skeletons to sleep, but you can't put to sleep the undead, but he did not know that. Felix almost went out of the battle a lot earlier, but he negated my crit with a hustle point that would have been max damage. But ended up getting hit with the lightning bolt.
Basil Essex shrugged off a lightning bolt thanks to that acorn he popped in his mouth.
Correct, the magic acorn. You guys are outside the Wagonbow Estate. It is mid-morning. It is like a misty rain. It is like 30 degrees out. There's a little bit of patches of snow. The estate seems to age right before your eyes. It's like weathering, and pieces of it, paint is peeling off. The arboretum in the center is all smashed in, and there's like poofs of smoke coming out, and parts of it has been damaged, obviously, when the Colossus stepped on it. And there are two guards there along with Omar. Omar has run off because he found out Teresa was injured, and you are not far from where Janelle stayed at the house, like underneath in the basement. So he has run off to check on her. And the two guards are there kind of like astonished, not sure if they believe what they just saw, and then they're not sure if anybody's going to believe them if they told them what they just saw. And I think we left it off as Orion was about to drop the charm on them.
Well, they were arguing with us, but I was winding up the charm, but it takes 10 minutes. Hopefully somebody, Clintock, can argue with the guards long enough for them to be charmed. Or excuse me, we have another person who is becoming famous for confusing our enemies and making them hesitate. Isn't that right, Synodog?
What? I just do what I can do. Yeah.
I'm going to give them a roll. Are you going to attempt to charm them? Just to I think you can make them friendly to you with Clintock and Synodog and the fact that they think they just saw some huge Colossus get sucked into the Wagonbow Estate. They're just completely 18 and 12. All right. You feel like one of them probably is under your influence. The other one is not.
I'm going to be doing these are not the droids you're looking for. Yes, we understand that man and hopefully he's either the leader or he can influence his friend. Yes, we understand he's wearing Wagonbow duds, but his clothes were destroyed in an accident, and it's all we could find, really. Black magic users up there at the estate.
He says, yeah, okay. And you remember some of you had seen this guard before, Marcos, and he looks at his associate and he's like, Gore, right, head back to the Hexor's Crossing. Tell them what's happened at the estate. He just said black magic users. We need to send a contingent of the guards here to take care of this. Quick, hurry up. He's like, okay, I will. And you see him run off into a short distance, through some mud marsh, to where these two horses have been tied up. And he gets on the horse and he starts hauling ass to Hexor's Crossing. He's like, where are these black magic users? He pulls his sword out. He's like, oh man, just as he's getting ready to traipse up there, you hear a noise, which is the door to that basement open and close, and Omar comes out. And he comes walking out. He walks over to where the tree, there was these trees that lined sort of the path to the house. And you see him look around, and he pulls out a stick, and then he pulls out another one. He like breaks a branch off, but almost like he's got a walking stick with him now. And he starts walking over kind of through it's a little bit wet, and you kind of sink in. It's kind of muddy because it's been raining and snowing, and he starts trudging off, and you see Remy is at the top now, has come out. He stops and he sees your group. He says, so the chapel is in the back, right?
Right next to the Arboretum.
Okay. All right. And then you see the guard say, you're headed that way, Omar. Be careful as black magic uses. I will accompany you. And he's like, okay. And they start treading off to the estate.
And I yell at them, don't get near the statues.
Remy comes walking over to you guys, and she's like, are you gonna let Omar go by himself?
Remy, we need to get out of here. No offense, but we really need to get out of here. And you weren't there to see that all of the real evil creatures were sucked into a giant hole, probably sucked into another dimension when we finally defeated the demon.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, but Teresa's in real bad shape, and so is Felix. And she looks over at Clintock, and you can see Clintock is nursing his arm, because now it hurts like hell because he'd used it during the fight. And Zofan, we're kind of in bad shape. I mean, we can leave now, but I don't know. I mean, I understand that you guys have come to help me, but this is like, we're not going to get very far with us so banged up. And I don't know if we can stay here. I don't think we could probably stay in this basement over here, but.
Karn just said, we fought and defeated evil, and now we've got promises to keep. Nothing.
But we can't stay at Teresa's, Omar's and Teresa's, because it's far too small. I mean, honestly, I understand we're not up for extended travel, but if we do need to find some place to rest and recuperate, and here is probably not the best bet.
And she looks over and notices Torjohn, and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even notice.
He gave his life trying to defend his savior. I'm sure he rests in Cuthbert's arms.
Clintock just pipes in, somebody should probably bury him, ? And then he stares down at the compass that led to his fateful experience earlier.
It's pointing towards the Wagonbow Estate.
We've got a boat, we can do burial at sea. Torjohn will definitely find comfort in the halls of Cuthbert, where he has earned his place there.
I've got some money. I mean, we could go into Hexor's Crossing. I'm sure there's a cleric or somebody who could perform some rites to bring him back. I feel terrible.
Oh boy. You mean we could bring Torjohn back to life?
There's no guarantee, but they might be able to do it.
Clintock speaks back up and says, I'm not one normally to say this, but if we help them deal with the estate, then maybe they'll raise Torjohn for free and we won't be out any money.
It's a thought.
What do you mean?
Well, Omar and the guard are going back there. I mean, we're not in great shape, but every bit helps, I guess. I mean, one of you guys can do something, right?
I mean, Karn is fine.
As you say that, we dealt with the estate. You look over at the estate and the clouds are breaking and there's a light, like sunlight coming through and hitting the center of the arboretum, like where the arboretum would be, but it's just a pile of rubble, but there's a light that's shining down in the center of the arboretum.
Okay, that's weird.
Maybe what's done is done.
All the evil did appear to be sucked down into the hole.
Yeah.
If there's any left, though, it's
Well,
our job to deal with it.
Okay, well, fine. You want to go to Hexor's Crossing? Is there a dock down there? It would be faster to go by ship.
You basically would have to dock your ship and take a boat into Hexor's Crossing. There's no ships don't directly go there.
All right, we'll sort of wander over to Glentalk and say, and very quietly say, what are you talking about? We need to avoid the damn guards before they figure out who we are. And Remy doesn't know yet either.
Remy doesn't know who we are.
She doesn't know we're the ones with the massive bounty on our heads.
Oh yeah, that. Good question. Then do we really want to stay in Hexor's Crossing?
No. We need to.
There is that boat that's at the dock now that Omar is gone.
Well, it is technically your boat.
No.
Yeah,
That's technically our boat.
Oh, right.
Captain
told us
Ops bought it for us.
Yeah. Sorry. Back at
So-
sea?
Yeah, by boat.
Okay, I think this is sort of workable, actually. So take the ship closer to Hexor's Crossing and then have a selected party go into Hexor's Crossing, aka no one very recognizable,
AKA not Karn.
aka not Karn. Yes. And get some supplies, maybe get poor Torjohn up and running. Who knows? That seems like a workable thing. Yes.
So we can easily leave Karn somewhere, but where?
On the boat.
On the boat.
Okay.
Clintock interjects. Could we send Felix in? One, he's not wearing armor anymore, and two, he looks pretty disgusting, and I'm not sure anyone would recognize him now. And for everyone else, like Felix has like pulled off all of his armor and has like bundled it up in some rope and is just like pulling it behind him.
Okay. Oh, right. He got burned, so he can't wear armor or
Mm-hmm.
right. Seems like we have a semi-workable plan. Move the boat closer to Hexor's Crossing. See what can be done there for a couple of the injured/dead. Maybe pick up some supplies and then work from there. Make sense? Let's make sure Teresa gets back home.
Karn has to get his dog.
I think what isn't your dog in the basement too?
Yeah, he left
The horse
Yeah.
and the horse is there. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to get his dog. He's got to get his horse.
Okay.
And he gave Teresa a healing potion. That's
Yeah.
the only reason she's alive.
Yeah, she comes out staggering out of the basement there as your dog comes out. Zofan is helping her, which says a lot about her condition. And she's like, is Omar, where did Omar go? Has he returned yet?
For some reason, he went up to the Wagonbow Estate.
No.
We
He
told
went to
her.
go get my thunder stick. I don't know why. I told him to leave it. I wasn't concerned about it, but he said that I would fuss at him for not
Well-
bringing it home. So
The guard was with him, and it appears that most of the real evil most of the literal evil got sucked under when the demon died.
I hope so.
But
I-
we should get you home and get you settled in so that you're safe. Just because we have cleared out a lot of this place doesn't mean that it's completely safe.
It's true.
I guess that's best. I don't want to hold you all up. I thank you for saving me.
Well, we very much appreciate you joining our fight against that thing, that terrible family. This whole area will be much safer for everyone now that they're gone.
Your whole gaggle is going to head up to their house.
Yep.
Juan Pierre, the who originally called himself J.R. Wagonbow, the merchant, is like, oh, I guess I'm going to head to Hexor's Crossing to find out what has happened. And he starts walking in that direction.
How far is Hexor's
Okay.
Cross from where we are now?
By horse, it's probably like 2 hours. So walking for him, it's going to take him a while.
Half the day, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. You make the long trek, the slow trek up to through the mud and the mist and the rain. Occasionally looking back, you can see the estate. That light is still shining in the middle of the arboretum. Omar and the guard are nowhere to be seen as they are vanished behind the back of the manor, headed into the chapel area. And all of you make your way up to Omar and Teresa's little house. And you get there, just before you get there, the door opens. And Crispin comes out. He's all concerned. And you open the door, and Muddy is sitting there in the chair with his feet up next to the fire, drinking like some kind of tea or something, reading a book. He's like, kind of looks, sees you there, and he just goes back to reading.
Useful, aren't you?
Hey, I'm watching the place.
Basil would somewhere along that trek sidle up to Clintock and say, is it a good idea that these people know that we're going to be going to Hexor's Crossing? Maybe we should try to convince them that we're going to skip that and go somewhere else to throw these guards off of our trail.
I mean, I didn't tell them where we're going.
But Teresa might tell them where we're going. We may want to make her think that we're deciding to go in the opposite direction.
Yeah, or we can just pay her off.
Just
I don't
a thought, but nobody ever listens to me because they don't want to seem to believe me. I don't know why.
You're so stalwart in your convictions. I have no idea.
Yeah, no, I would never tell a lie.
Oh God. Boy, Clintock and Basil together are just wow.
I did forget this. So Teresa is mostly deaf at this point. She cannot hear anything. So when she speaks, it's really loud. And same thing for Felix.
Do you just want to try and bribe her, Basil?
That's one thought that we could try to do.
But I mean, if
Karn, though.
she practically yells anything that she hears, so like maybe just tell her we're going somewhere else too. That's probably easier. How I'm thinking about it.
Okay. Oh, that's right. She can't hear if we conspire a little. Orion's going to wander over to this group and say, I think you're talking about our general problems here. The real problem, and keeping an eye out so that the person I'm talking about isn't close enough to hear. The real problem is Remy. She doesn't know we're the people that have a bounty on our heads. So we either bring her in or she's going to try to take us bad directions.
Why would she turn us in? We're the ones helping her get to the place she wants to go.
Well, okay, but I don't just unilaterally make that decision.
Yeah,
I don't trust either of you, but on the other hand, you've had my back so far.
You
Until
can
that
always count on
changes.
me to stand by your side and face any adversary from 50 feet away.
Right,
All right.
exactly.
Come on, why are you being so harsh? Relax.
Okay, so, and of course, not talking to Karn for obvious reasons. The
Let's
people
just-
in the group who can actually do subterfuge. So we agreed on bringing Remy in on the fact that the guards are after us, so that we can actually get some intelligent decisions made.
Sure, but let's wait till we're on the boat, because of the implication.
And if we have to, we can just
Okay.
stab her, throw her overboard.
Mostly, I think the real problem is that I never got that gem. Stares back at the compass.
Wait a minute. What
I
Jim?
found this nifty crown.
Never mind, Ryan.
That is a nice looking crown, Basil.
He's gonna have to try it on.
Okay. All
I
right.
don't think that's real gold there.
Yeah, I mean, this crown looks immaculate. It's got the jewels in it, and it kind of sparkles. Where are you trying this on? Are you as you're walking up to their place, or do you go inside and put it on?
As we're walking up there, he's like, "Oh yeah, that's right. I got this wonderful crown. Oh, it looks shiny."
Okay.
Beware, brother, not all that glitters is gold.
Oh, too late.
Ryan goes, I hope that thing isn't cursed.
Oh, of
Too
course.
late. He put it
cursed.
on with me.
Yeah, he's got it on his head. He's like pulls it off and looks at it or tries to.
No, when you try to pull it off, it don't come off.
Why won't it come off? It won't come off.
Orion was very prophetic in his words.
Maybe keep the hood up for now on.
Well, just call me King Basil.
Okay. So
He's definitely not going to Hexor's Crossing.
You must have got to the edge of the board and they calmed you.
Does anything else happen to him other than it won't come off?
No, that's it. That's it. Just stays on your head.
You can just tell everybody I'm a prince.
Or you could get that curse removed while you're in Hexor's Crossing as well.
I mean, that didn't work out the way that I was hoping it would, but it is what it
think-
is.
I think maybe you should get like a full set of grills to sport with that crown.
Yep, I'm gonna have to get some nicer looking clothes if I'm gonna be telling people I'm a prince.
no, we'll put an ugly hat on you in the meantime.
It's so
Nobody's
pretty
going to
though.
believe
Why
it.
would I want to do
Nobody's
that?
going to believe it.
So you get up to the house, the fire, like I said, Muddy D is doing his thing. He's manning the Omar and Teresa's place. He's got his feet up, warming them by the fire, drinking some tea. Crispin's all concerned, talking to Remy. He kind of looks at everybody kind of like in horror, and then gives a quick look to Torjohn, who I imagine is like on the horse as Karn is riding it, slumped over it. You guys are going to board the ship and head out.
Felix will ask if there are any clothes that he can borrow, like any robes, or pay for.
Yeah, Teresa would goes in and grabs you some clothes. Omar never wears these.
We also need to get Clintock out of his Wagonbow duds.
I appreciate the garments, madam.
Oh, anything. Like she does that and she's like completely exhausted and she has to like sit down. And Remy says, "Can you come back and get me? I'm going to stay here with her till Omar shows up. She can't take care of herself. Look how bad shape she's in."
Leave Remy there?
if you guys are just going into town to deal with Torjohn or stuff, it shouldn't take that long. I don't want her here by herself, especially look at her condition. Look how bad she looks like Felix. I mean, she's been burned all over her body.
Do we bring her in on it or do we leave her here?
It needs proper care.
Yeah, that's right. Cinedog knows.
Might be time to tell her.
Yeah, I think this comedy has gone on long enough. Orion will sort of go, we understand, Remy, but can I talk to you about plans outside for a minute?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Remy, the short form is, you heard about that bounty the guards were talking about?
Yeah.
We're the people the bounty is on. Not you, but the rest of us.
Okay.
Now,
That's what I figured.
okay, so you're smart. We got it. The point is we cannot stick around that long because sooner or later, the guards are going to have their hands full with the Wagonbow for a little, but sooner or later, one of them's going to figure it out.
I get it. I understand. I don't think Omar or Teresa would do anything, but if we just hightail it out of here and we don't leave them any kind of help, that's not going to go over well, I think, with Omar. Because that money will definitely go a long way for him, because now he's got to take care of Teresa for who knows how long, and that's going to cut in on what kind of money he can get. And you can see as she looks at the house, it's like they don't have a whole lot of money. I could leave them, but they also need somebody to take care of them. I can't go find somebody. Now, maybe there's somebody in Hexor's Crossing that would be willing to assist them. Or at least compensate Omar when he comes back so he doesn't have to worry about working.
I understand. I agree. But, I spent most of my personal money on supplies.
Well, I have money for this trip to hire and take care of stuff, so I can leave some of the money. But I really think that I would suggest at least one of us stay. And that would make sense for me to be me until Omar comes back. Because what if he doesn't come back? And then there could be a problem.
Okay, well, now that everybody's sort of in on it, honestly, I'd like to have Torjohn back, but not at the cost of sending us all to prison. But on the other hand, Torjohn's not exactly a high-profile member of this group. You think we could get away with leaving the high-profile members here, go into Hexor's Crossing, see if we can't get some patch-up done, and then come back?
You asking her or everybody?
No, I'm going to get the rest of the guys together.
Okay. All right.
And I still don't want Teresa within. Well, fortunately, she's half deaf.
Yeah,
but
she's
still don't want her
practically deaf. Yeah.
And
I haven't
probably
rolled to
past
see if
too.
she is permanently deaf like Felix. We're going to give it a couple days.
I don't think
Okay.
Karn is truly aware of just how much of the hijinks that went on were caused by us. So he may be in a little bit of a state of denial about the idea that we have a bounty on our heads and whether we deserve to have one on our heads.
Well, all Orion says is that we have a bounty on our head. Orion didn't say it was deserved. Orion didn't give details.
No, what I'm saying is he's probably willing to stay behind because he doesn't really know or think they deserve that, right? You could probably easily talk him into it.
Okay.
If you wanted him to stay behind while you went to Hexor's Crossing.
Well, yes, we do. Who needs to go in for a possible clerical touch-up? Obviously, Torjohn and Felix. Yeah, Felix is burned. I don't know if that can be cured or not.
Not really. I mean, you can't really speed up the process.
Okay. Shame. So besides Torjohn, how about the deafness?
That might, yeah, they might be able to do something. I mean, if that's what you wanted, they might be able to do something for the deafness, but they would probably tell you that they're not sure if that's permanent or not. Basil
Okay.
W would, might need some help.
He doesn't
to-
realize he needs help, but he wants to go to town.
Oh, I know he does.
Yeah.
But Felix will definitely go because
Okay.
tell that he is Felix basically right now.
All right, so Basil W definitely needs to go to get the curse.
He likes his crown. So far. Like if you're trying to talk him into covering up his crown, he's gonna resist. But it's so princely. Doesn't it look good?
Yeah, don't do it. Let your inner light shine.
Right, Basil, you know what the real problem is? All of the other Basils in the world are going to look at you, and decide they want the crown too. You have to hide it if you want to keep it.
They can't have it.
Clintock ponders, is it attached to the skin or the skull?
Hey, I know where you're going with this. Stop thinking like that.
And Orion goes, exactly like I said, all of the other Basils in the world are going to want that crown.
Well, I bet I can run faster than they can. Maybe you have a point. Maybe we can make
And we should found the Society of the No Basils.
I'll need a robe with a cloak or with a hood or something.
You mean you don't already have one, Basil?
I don't know if he's got. I actually don't know if he's got like a cloak. I guess he would have.
Yeah, that would probably be a standard thing, unless if something specific happened, like
Yeah, because he's a thief. He probably has a way to,
Yeah.
put a hood up and hide his face, try to sneak around and stuff. Yeah, sure. He'll put his hood up. But I don't like hiding it.
All right, so Orion volunteers to go with you guys in the Hexor's Crossing. If nothing else, just to have a, unhurt party member.
I think Basil Wilberforce has passed all his wounds and stuff, isn't he? Because he only had a day.
Passed all of them.
I think so. Let me check. I've got a little calendar where I keep track of all that. I'm pretty sure he has.
How many days is Clintock's arm injury?
Oh boy.
I don't know.
It's like 23 or something.
That's what I have for Felix is 23 days that he can't wear.
Oh, I'm sorry, Clintock. Yeah, Clintock's is not that many. It's 4. I think yours is like 5 days.
Okay. Yeah, I just like wanted a ballpark. It's not.
Yeah, it's like 5 days.
Okay.
Karn still is. He's got a little while to go. Zofan needs to go because he is a sailor and technically now the captain of the ship. At least he can stay on the boat to get the ship there.
Right.
Orion, Felix, Basil, Synodog. Now, obviously, they're not looking for somebody in fuzzy jumpsuit and a bucket hat because Synodog, gave his LeMay suit to the Mott, so he's good there.
I should
Orion's
have
gonna
the
see
full
about
walk of
changing-
the town.
Mm-hmm.
Orion's going to see about changing up his look a little, maybe slicking back his hair,
Yeah.
messing himself up a little. I mean,
Okay.
everybody else is beat
Yes,
up
man.
enough that-
Spruce yourself up. You look, bring out your eyes. You know, you could really turn some heads.
until we get out further away from the ape empire. I want the heads turning the other direction.
So Muddy says, you going into town? You need me to come with you?
Up to you, Muddy. Really?
I mean, I got things under
Come
control
on
here.
down. Come on down if you want.
Only
We
thing
could
I'm
use a
worried.
guy who knows the ropes, a local, you know.
I haven't been to
Is
Hexor.
he a local?
I haven't been to Hexor's Crossing in a while. I know where the cemeteries are, though. Pretty good with that.
That means you probably know where the churches are. Okay, yeah, come on. Come on. Some knowledge is better than no
All right,
knowledge.
yeah.
And we
So he
can't
goes over and starts
wait.
putting his shoes on because he was warming his feet by the fire, and it's like, yeah. Puts the book back up on the shelf.
Yeah, some knowledge is better than no knowledge. Come on.
So who's staying back? So Remy.
Clintock will stay on the boat. I don't know if that's what you're talking about, staying back, or you're talking about staying.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So whoever's going to stay absolutely back. So Remy is probably going to stay with her unless you absolutely want her to go on the ship.
Yeah, it seems like Karn is too.
Okay.
Well, if
So-
Remy's just gonna stay there, Karn might go on the ship with you and just stay on the ship.
Okay, well, all right, shouldn't talk for your character, whatever.
Yeah. No, he would have been willing to stay if we needed Remy to go. But
Oh, okay.
if we don't just have to have Remy, I think I'd rather have Karn on the ship. He's there as backup in case.
All right. I mean, not to be put too fine a point to this, but Remy offered to finance. What's she going to give us to help with Torjohn?
She hands Karn 100 platinum pieces. Hopefully this will help. Hopefully we can get somewhere with this.
Wow. Generous.
So princely sum. If it requires more, I will add to it, and if it requires less, I'll make sure to get your change.
Yeah.
Funny that Remy doesn't trust most of the rest of us. Oh well, at least not with money.
All right.
She's
So
learning. I'm proud of her.
so it is the afternoon. You guys get on the ship. Remy, Crispin goes along with you. So Remy is the only one that stays. As she says, she's waiting for Omar to return, taking care of Teresa, and you guys shove off, passing all the docks and the waterway here, headed towards Hexor's Crossing. You get to a point where you kind of turn inland, start heading south, and there's all these different docks that are built up, and you dock your ship, and you realize that there's a lot of little small boats and stuff that go down. They take this waterway like a river into Hexor's Crossing. So at one point, the legend is one point Hexor's Crossing was right here, but it got moved, and it's moved inland. Because there's like an original marker that you'll notice that says, the original Hexor's Crossing.
Prone to flooding.
Who is actually going into town? We got Felix, Synodog, Orion, and Basil. Prince Basil Wilberforce.
Yes.
And Orion will look at Karn and say, if you're staying on the boat, that's fine, but money has to go into town in order to pay the cleric.
Oh, well, certainly I trust you, friend Orion.
Much appreciated. I will not fail.
You are, after all, my BFF.
Acting, don't fail me now. And Orion thinks of his head. Yeah, you're my BMS, best meat shield. Thank you very much.
So I would say by the time you got all this done and got, you arrange transport, which would be like a gold piece to get you guys down the river. It's starting to get it's the sun is starting to set. It's cold, it's misty. You see other boats moving up the river, and some of them have all sorts of supplies, like little cages of like chickens or whatever they're taking into the city or taking out. And you see wheat fields and rice, and you see some oxen grazing. And you get up to Hexor's Crossing, and you see the very thatched, simple housing around this 20-foot tall wood, like a wall, like a spiked wall that goes around it. More like almost like an outpost, more than a city. And there's some gate towers, and they lead you up to a dock, and you guys shuffle in with some more people who are headed up to the gate, and they open the main gate for you. And there's some guards there. All the guards, you would guess, probably hired mercs. They're not uniform like Clinkville. They're kind of like, they kind of do their own thing. Some got leather, some got plate mail, some are wearing a shield. They'll have like a sash that's got the Hexor's Crossing written on it. So, they know that they're a guard. So how are you bringing Torjohn in?
Karn's horse.
It's like a weekend at Barney's.
Basil on one side, Clintock on the other, holding him up.
Clintock isn't going into town.
Oh, sorry, Felix.
Felix isn't carrying anyone at this state.
This is true.
No,
Yeah.
you cannot carry anyone at this state. And you can barely hear anything.
Well, we'll borrow Karn's horse.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
and drape him over the saddle,
All right.
not to ride, but to drape him over the saddle. Horses shouldn't stay on ships too long anyway.
So you walk in with the other gaggle of people, the guards just kind of look at you. It is a very small town. Like I said, more like an outpost. There is one building you notice immediately as you walk in is a tavern called the Thirsty Rooster. There's a big group outside, and somebody is standing like on a crate and speaking, and he's like, "I've just heard it from the guard himself that the Wagonbow Estate, the mansion has fallen. It is no longer occupied by the evil." And then somebody says, do you know all the treasures that exist in that place? I'm like, yes. We need to get gathered tonight and ride.
And Basil Wilberforce is like,
It's all in the marketing.
we gotta get back.
So you pass the Thirsty Rooster. You pass an inn called the Happy Buddha. There's some other travelers there where they've got some like mules or whatever tied up, and they're like looking to go in. And you come up to a temple to the Ape Empire.
Oh boy.
It's a big dome temple, probably the nicest place in town, made of marble. There's some fountains in the front with water coming out. And there's a gray-haired ape just kind of sitting outside, and there's like 2 torches burning right next to the double doors.
Give
He
the
is in,
reins
like-
to the valet guys.
He is in cleric's robes. He sees you guys approach.
So, since we've been hanging around the Ape Empire, we should know the proper greeting for faithful.
Right.
Is it something like "Hail the Ancestors" or whatever?
That works.
Orion will wander up to the older ape and, hail the ancestors and do whatever bows or, greeting of somebody for higher rank is appropriate.
Yes, greetings. Praise the ape ancestors and the spirits. What brings you, travelers?
What? What?
He looks at him and he's like, I believe he's been afflicted by something.
An unfortunate truth. We travelers fell afoul of the terrible monsters that the Wagonbows had, and our companion has been slain. We were wondering if it is possible for him to be brought back to us.
Oh, if the spirits will it, and is he of strong constitution, we could complete a ceremony. Of course, there will be a cost.
Huh?
Of course.
My friend's a little hard of hearing too. Maybe you could do something for him.
All right. As part of the fight, our friend there lost part of his hearing, and I will pause and look at Basil Wilberforce and see if he is going to bring his problem up or not.
Basil looks back at you like, what? He says, well, this
All
thing
of the
come
other,
off my head, and he'll show the ape.
yeah, and our friend here was cursed.
Oh, I see. That is a fine crown you wear.
I thought so too, but they told me it's not a good thing because it won't come off. I can't get it off.
That may be something that we can handle as well.
Maybe if you get it off, you can keep it to pay for my friends. And he looks over at
Orion
Orion and goes, but you don't tell Remy I did that.
Orion looks over at Basil Wilberforce and goes, oh God, the crown needs to come off as fast as possible.
No, he wants the 100 platinum pieces if he gives up the crown.
Oh, okay. He's laundering the damn money already. Okay,
Yes.
fine. Orion has no problem with that. Equal costs perfectly. So let's see if we can't negotiate with an old guy about, getting us fixed up.
Yeah, but somebody other than Basil is going to need to do the actual haggling.
He opens the double doors for you and leads you in. It's a nice temple, well kept. Look like it's been swept up and people take care of it. There's a lot of torches burning and incense and some sort of elaborate mural with some ape, and then there's all these spirits like around him, as he's in some sort of prayer. And he kind of walks you down. It's a long hallway, and off to the side are a few desks. I wouldn't say desks, but like tables and chairs, and there's some other apes sitting there like conversing, or maybe they're praying, or one's eating some bread. And you see another one, and then instantly like a carrot appears in his hand and he starts eating it very quietly, watching you. And get down the long hallway, and there's like an altar, and there's some water, like a pool of water. And he says, your offering for And he says, resurrection of your friend, to cure your other's deafness and to remove this curse.
What would be an appropriate offering?
He kind of looks at you almost like you should know.
Should I
Because
know?
well, it's more like, you want me to really say it? He kind of reaches down and puts his hand in the water and says, I think a sufficient amount of 3,000 gold should take care of any issues you have.
3,000. What is that in platinum?
That's 300.
300 platinum?
Yeah.
Wait, okay. Well, my friend is willing to, once the crown is removed, my friend is willing to donate it to the temple, of course. How would this help with your estimate?
Well, has Basil come over, he examines it and looks at the crown. He says, I think this will be sufficient trade. We can certainly sell it to someone in town for proper gold amount. But yes, if you wish.
Certainly agreed.
Drinks are on me.
So he takes like a copper piece out of his pocket and drops it into the well, and you see it sink and then you see it sink, and there looks like there's all these different coins in the well, and then as the water ripples, but the ripples are gone, you don't see any money in there. He says, we will take your friend back and perform the rites. Hopefully by morning we should have an answer.
That's for Torjohn, right?
Yeah, so yeah, for Torjohn, it's probably gonna take about 12 hours. And mechanically there'll be a roll.
Okay, and how about the decurse and the?
Yeah, that's probably gonna be an hour or two.
And are they doing that tonight, or?
Yes, actually, somebody will come over and perform that. One of the other 8 clerics.
Yeah, don't take him out till he's done.
So for Felix, give me it's save versus death, but it's not death. So
Okay.
save versus death, but add 8 to it.
At 8, okay. Yeah, I easily saved.
Okay.
I gotta.
So you've got some ringing in your ears, but you can hear a lot better. He says one of the apes comes over after performing the ceremony. They like cover your ears in like some kind of wax. And he said he speaks in some strange ape language, repeating some words, and then he peels the wax off. And you can hear him much better. There's a little bit of ringing, but yeah, your hearing will come back.
Thank you, kind sir. Much appreciated.
Oh, kind of wipes the sweat from his brow, like, whew. You get the impression that was probably the first time he's ever, done that.
Yeah.
And he closes his eyes for a minute, and a piece of celery, like celery stalk, appears in his hand. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Are you hungry?"
Oh, I could eat.
And he hands you the piece of celery, and another one appears in his hand. And he starts chewing on it.
Start eating it, and then I look perplexed for a second. Is this actually supposed to make you less full?
Yeah.
No, I mean,
All right.
would you like something else?
Do you have any meat?
You must be joking.
Hey. Yeah, he's quite the joker.
Our sect is true to the spirit of the ape empire. We are true vegetarians.
Oh, my apologies. My apologies.
It is okay. It's okay.
Be thankful the other Basil wasn't here.
Closes his eye again. He has like a beet in his hand. He's like,
Ah, yes.
"You're
Much
right."
better.
Except, of course, for holidays, then everything is all bets are off.
Basil, the ceremony takes about an hour or so, and they remove the crown from your head. They hand it to the main guy. They usher it out of the room and hand it to the main guy. And you guys, the rest of you are kind of like, I don't know what you would be doing, at least probably for the first couple hours, at least for these guys are done. So you're probably in the main hallway watching these other apes as, every once in a while, somebody will come in and they'll talk to them. And the main guy walks over and he drops the crown into that pool of water, and it ripples. And then, and then he walks away.
So much for trying to steal it back.
He says, your two friends have been taken care of. We are preparing your other friend for his resurrection. The crown did turn out to be enough to warrant the transaction. So I thank you for that.
And we appreciate all of your help. We will see you in the morning. Well, guys, it should be easy to get a inn room, because apparently most of the treasure hunters are out at the Wagonbow Estate.
And as you walk outside, Basil looks at it right and then goes,
Yes, I'll pass it over. I'll pass it over.
Felix says, "You lot are all the same."
Oh, does that mean you don't want me to buy your drinks tonight?
Oh, you can buy them. I'm not going to argue that.
Orion says it's not even dishonest. Remy offered to pay for the resurrection, but it costs far more than she intended. And this gentleman was good enough to cover it. So I'm sorry. It's not even dishonest.
Yeah, it seems like a fair trade to me.
Besides which, that way the Ape Empire gets to launder that damn thing.
All right, so are you going to stay here tonight, Hexor's Crossing?
How long would it take to get back to the boat?
Probably like a half an hour.
Well, that's not too bad. Well, I think we should inform our party members of what's going on. I volunteer to do so if nobody else is interested. But yeah, I fully intend to come back to town. We're going to spend the next probable couple of weeks on ship, and I'd rather spend having a little nicer time while I can.
It's evening time, you said, right?
Oh yeah. It's pretty late now.
Yeah.
Because Basil will want to go shopping tomorrow.
Yeah.
His new money's going to burn a hole in his pocket.
Yeah, Orion's going to do what he said. He's going to find somebody who's willing to ferry him out to the boat and back, and just long enough to give a message. And to Remy, he's going to say pretty much exactly what he said to Basil Wilberforce, which is, the cost of the resurrection was higher than what she gave, but Basil Wilberforce paid for the difference. So there you go.
All right. So yeah, you cost 1 gold to get shuttled back to the ship. You let everybody know.
Okay.
Is everybody going, or are you guys going to stay in town? There's like Felix going back to the boat, and Basil and Cinedog. Are you guys going to stay in town?
Felix will stay in town.
Yeah, I think Basil would too.
He would prefer a nice comfy bed over whatever accommodations are on the ship with all of his skin burns. Extensive skin burns.
Yeah.
Anything good happening in town?
Well, there's a bunch of adventurers getting ready to go to the Wagonbow Estate because they think that there's all sorts of gold and treasure to be found.
Orion will mention to Basil Wilberforce and Clintock that it would be definitely to our advantage to talk that up because
Yeah, join them, have a
because-
few drinks, share some stories.
Yeah, sorry, Synodog, didn't mean to leave you out. Definitely talk up the Wagonbow Estate. Because the more adventurers out there, the more the guards have to be out there to corral them, and it keeps the guards out of town.
One gold piece will get you a private room with some food tonight and breakfast in the morning.
There's 4 of us in town waiting for Torjohn.
Yeah, there'll be 4 of you if you're staying there yet.
Yep.
Basil will pay for everybody to have a room and buy their and buy their drinks.
Unk Basils.
The cinnamon ale is on your first one is part of your room. So there's this big half orc who runs the Happy Buddha, and he takes your money and then brings you guys out a plate of drinks. It's kind of sparse in here. There doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of people. There's like 1 or 2 people at a table, like hanging out, talking. And you guys are kind of like, he cans you your drinks. He says, what brings you in town?
Just passing through. I'll mention we're going out to, and I will say something in a different direction than we're actually going. You know, we're not
Okay.
not exactly going to tell them we're headed out to the what was it?
Well, we're gonna go to Wagonbow Estate, aren't we? Like everybody else is doing, get all that treasure.
Yeah, we hear there's big stuff going on there. That's like the big ticket thing going on, you know. Everybody is going.
That was all the talk at the Thirsty Rooster earlier. Some guard said some guard returned from out at the estate. Spoke of well, said things I didn't believe, but who knows?
Yeah, I heard there's big treasure there.
That's what they've always said. Smith Wagonbow had lots and lots of money.
We saw this great giant thing smashing it and smoke rising. I mean, it was pretty crazy. We ran at the time, but
He looks at you and then leans over and grabs the drink out of your hand and sniffs it and drinks it, and he's like, puts it down and he gives it back to you. And is that what you say? That's what the guard said, something about some huge creature smashing you and then vanished.
yeah, if we had known back then that it was full of treasure, we'd have stopped and grabbed some. So we're gonna have to go back and get it.
Good luck. Every
Right.
mercenary adventurer wannabe who's already grabbed their gear and headed that way.
Well, not us tonight.
No.
We'll let them get killed first, and then we'll go in and pick up the spoils.
Do you need a drink there, friend? You're pretty intimate with ours.
Oh, I have my own. I run this place, but I was just sampling his, make sure that I had served him the wrong thing.
Oh, you're like a tester.
Yes, you could say that. He looks at
Yes.
Felix. You look pretty rough as well.
I got hit by a bolt of lightning.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
Sure.
I never thought the whole thing about being outside when it was raining in the field was truth to it, but turns out
Turns out, yes. He reaches
Well,
over.
at least it won't happen again.
Yeah, that would be very unlucky.
He reaches over to the bar, reaches underneath behind it, and takes like these leaves, looks like little green leaves, and drops them in your drink. That'll help you rest tonight.
Thank you. And I'll slide a gold piece over his way for that.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yes, you'll be fortunate. This will be a very probably a very quiet night here at Hexor's Crossing.
You don't
Oh,
say.
that's good. We need a night of peace and quiet, really relaxing, you know?
All sorts of stuff going on. Yeah. Some of the folks were a bit disappointed that couldn't get to Blinkville, but then when they heard what happened, they weren't disappointed anymore. That place is on lockdown.
Yeah.
I wonder why they locked it down.
Yeah. Have you heard anything about that?
There was some fires and some attacks. There's some flyers around town looking for some of the followers of some black magic users associated with St. Cuthbert.
Oh, there's all kinds of crazy nuts around these days.
But that
Yeah.
doesn't strike me right. I always thought that Cuthbert was supposed to be a really nice guy. Rough but nice. I thought his followers were good people, not black magic users.
You know, it's usually not the god that's the problem. It's all his nutcases that follow him.
Oh, I'm so happy Karn's on the boat.
Oh, come on, don't shoot the messenger.
Well, you know what? I would just to wound, because they're worth about 5,000 gold if you bring them back alive.
What?
That's a lot of money.
You're kidding.
That's what I've heard.
Wow. Hey guys, maybe we shouldn't be headed out for the Wagonbow Estate. Maybe we should be looking for these guys, for the crazy black magic Cuthbert users. And yes, I said that wrong deliberately.
They're probably long gone by now.
That's kind of cutthroatist of you, you know.
Basil looks around the bar and focuses on the other patrons and see if any of them looks like they could be rolled later tonight.
I mean, there's one that's a little tipsy, but the other one just is sitting there eating soup, and he's like, "I'll get you a soup here in a minute." He wipes his hand off on his apron and he walks in the back.
Does the tipsy one look like he has any money?
Yeah, I mean, he's wearing it looks like he's got a coin purse. He comes back with some, it looks like bean and goat and rice soup, but it's really, really hot. And it tastes pretty good. Gives you guys all bacon, a loaf of bread. Pretty much for each of you.
Thank you, kind sir.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, if you need anything else, I'll be right over there. Enjoy your stay. In the morning, we will have fish biscuits and beans.
Biscuits and beans. Delectable.
What else is going on around town these days?
Well, it was supposed to be Festival of Light coming up, but it's been a bit delayed. Most of the people wanted to head to Clinkville, but That got shut down. But they'll be holding something here in a couple of days. I would imagine it will be the typical festivities of song and dance and, driving the spirits away and welcoming
perfect.
the light of the Ape Empire to shine on us once again, Rumbles as he walks away.
Basil
And-
looks at Ryan and says, I wonder if they need any help planning their festival of lights.
Well, we are professionals, Should have given him my card.
We don't have the best of references.
Through that.
Oh, I can just see what'll happen if we give them the real reference.
Are you doing anything other than Basil thinking about rolling this drunk?
No. Felix is going to retire pretty early after some drinks.
Okay.
Hopefully pass out on a comfy bed.
Okay. It's a simple bed. There's a dresser with a mirror.
He does not look in the mirror.
Very wise.
After the rest of the party retires, Synodog will try to move some jumpsuits and bucket hats.
Okay. Give me a D6 roll. So yeah, the guy who was well into like his sixth cinnamon ale definitely takes you up on the offer, and you get a couple late patrons coming in to the Happy Buddha who purchase a few of these items.
Right on. You gotta keep working the magic, all the way to, become a billion gold there.
Wait a minute, what is Synodog selling?
Jumpsuits and bucket
Clothing.
hats.
You'll never get these again, bro. You'll never get these again. They're gone. No, they're not making them anymore.
So you get 10 gold pieces from all of them total. All right, so
Passive income all the way.
Paul, give me a D12 roll.
9.
You all rest well. It's fairly quiet here. Those of you on the ship sleep fine too. There's definitely traffic, ships moving in and out all night. It's early in the morning, and you go down for breakfast. And Gulrin, who is the half orc, is standing there, and he is got a big smile on his face, and he's wearing a bucket hat and a fuzzy jumpsuit, and he's like serving everybody.
Looking good,
Oh,
bro.
Yeah, I was. You know what? I saw one of those. You sold one of those fellas. I encouraged him, and I encouraged him to sell it to me, and he did.
Nice hat.
Wow.
If you want to leave some here with me, I'll sell them for you. Just let me know where you're going to be staying. I could forward you the money.
Consignment. Yeah, no problem. We can work it out.
And he starts serving. There's these huge biscuits, and you see that they've been cooked. They've got like pieces of fish in them and rice. And he's got like in a bowl of beans, and he's serving some kind of honey ale.
Oh, breaking out the good stuff today, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have some big things are going on up over there.
Yeah, there's been a couple of folks that returned late last night, early this morning. I heard from the Wagonbow Estate. The majority of them should be coming in this morning.
Big money, guys.
Well, I don't know. One guy came back. I heard he didn't look too good. He had some burns or something on him.
Bombs.
They had to take him to the temple. But yeah, I'll be curious to see what they bring back. So I assume you guys are going to head over and check on Torjohn because it's the morning.
Yar.
Well, yeah.
I believe it is a D100 roll. Yes,
Okay.
there we go. A D100 roll. Torjohn's con, if I remember, is 8.
I didn't open him up because I wasn't necessarily expecting a res, but give me a second and I'll tell you. 7!
7. Okay, you have a 60% chance. So you got to roll below 60 or below.
Drum roll, please. And I think it's time to spend that.
That hustle point.
Spend that hustle point. Yep. Because 90 does not cut it. Nope. Torjohn Spirit goes, fuck you. I've had it. That was a 93.
Oh no.
Goodbye, Torjohn.
We will miss him.
So you head over to the temple and the gray ape is there. He just is like, we did all we could, but I believe he wanted to stay in the afterworld. The spirits need him more than we do.
What happened? I thought you
Well-
guys were professionals.
He met an honorable death.
I'll look at some of that. It's like, well, his life, he definitely had, his life definitely ended on a high note. We rescued him from slavery, and he went down trying to defend his rescuer. So perhaps he will end up in what's the appropriate? Do they have heavens or not?
I mean, some sort of, well, the apes would believe that, maybe you were accepted to the ape spirits, but there's probably, there'd be a god or something that.
Okay, I will just say, maybe his valiant actions led him to a better place.
Yes.
He's no Ben-Hur, but hey,
Well, I'm terribly sorry, but his spirit has obviously been accepted into with the spirits of the apes. Not in the exclusive circles that only the apes go, but on the periphery, but it's still better than any other place that he would end up.
Well, I wish I hadn't given up my crown now.
Your donation was appreciated.
Win some, you lose some.
So as you're in there, you can see that looks like an adventurer or somebody sitting there. He's being treated. His whole arm looks burned, like some acidic burn, and like the skin is coming off, and they're treating it.
Gross.
He says, well, if you wish to give your last rites, or we can take care of the body for you.
Do we know what he would want?
Orion would just offer to say says he wants to say a small prayer over the body, and other than that, the temple can take care of it.
Okay, so they kind of lead you back, and then there's, he's draped in these white linens. He's been cleaned. There's some kind of like oil or something that's on him.
Basil surreptitiously see if his coin pouch is still on him or not.
No, his coin pouch is not on him.
Damn.
He is in some kind of ape ceremonial robe.
Orion will just, act like he's praying silently for a minute or two and then
Okay.
get up. Not in game. It would look odd. It would look odd if we just walked away at this point. So you should have,
Bye,
give
dude.
Yeah.
well, okay. He's fertilizer. So, yeah, it would look odd.
Basil W. Acts like he's grieving, puts his head in his hands, and while he's got his head down, plucks a nose hair to make himself tear up.
Felix just bows over the body and then walks away.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you leave, and as you're leaving, another looks like adventurer type is being led in. And like he looks like he's been stabbed or something. He's they're holding his side. There's like blood all over his side.
There are a whole lot of people being wounded around here. Is this a violent town?
You headed back to the ship.
Yep.
So you're headed, walking past the inn and the tavern. The tavern now has a collection of people, and there's there's some horses and wagons, and there's like some crates and a bunch of adventurers are, drinking, and they're all laughing, talking, and somebody pulls out it's got like some kind of jewel encrusted sword or something. They're holding up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you see, man, when I found that." And as you're walking by, like there's like a wagon with a horse, attached to it, and there's crates, and inside looks like a giant spider, like the size of a small dog. No, not a small dog, a medium dog, like a canine. Inside, and the spider, as you guys are walking by, the spider says, "Hey, can you help me?" As his little spider leg is like clicking on the side of the cage.
We can
Wait a minute. He says it's in common?
Yes, he says it in common.
What the heck are you?
I'm Aquanetrix. Can you help me? I've been captured.
Is this your normal form?
It is my only form.
Give me a sec. I'll look at the party and say, let's chat. Do we do this just to provide some chaos on the way out or not?
What else is in the wagon?
So if you look at the wagon, there's some other crates, but there are two other crates that look like there are two other spiders the same size.
Should we offer just to end their lives now, to save them from the suffering?
I think the guys who captured them would object.
How closely guarded is the wagon?
Right now, not really. So the wagon is like on the outside, kind of, and all the adventurers are kind of huddled in a group near the tavern. I mean, they're not that far, but they kind of have their back turned. They're all laughing. They're having a drink. You can see they're covered in like mud and dust and crap, and they're just like laughing and joking and telling stories and showing off stuff that they found. He's like, "Yeah, we need to go back there and get that statue. There was that one there. That was, man, we need to get that one, bring it back here. It looked good right out front."
Are there horses still hitched to this wagon?
Yes, there is a horse that is still hitched to this wagon. Yes.
Are there any other horses around?
Yes.
A few.
Hey, you guys found some really good stuff there, eh?
One of the guys turns around and says, "Yeah, you missed out, friend. The Wagonbow Estate, there's some good stuff."
Really?
Yeah.
What could one find there?
Jewels, gems, gold, enchanted weapons, kinds of stuff.
Felix is
What
somewhere
is-
being really upset right now. Or Clintock.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, Orion's not feeling so hot either. But then again,
But
we
aren't there
had half the
monsters
party.
there?
Half
No.
the party was
No, apparently either
Yeah.
they ran off or something, or it was just a rumor that keep us away, I think.
Oh, rumors, yeah. I hear
We
that.
saw-
Well, luck
we
good
saw
for
some
you,
guy
man.
that- We saw some guy at the temple who looked to be in really bad shape.
Are you asking about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't you always check the floor for in case. Yeah, that's what happens when you run into a black pudding. Dumbass. He deserved it.
So there were still things in there that weren't necessarily evil, but were still dangerous.
But there could be still some stuff if you guys are planning on going. There might be a couple things left. I mean, there's piles and something smashed the crap out of it, but I don't know. There was a group still back there pulling off some of the ornamental furnishings and trying to get some of the furniture out of there, but how they can have that.
I'll try to drag my party aside. It's like, guys, we're getting bogged down here. We either leave or we provide a distraction, then leave. That's my opinion. I'm just saying.
My vote's just for leaving. We currently don't have the resources to have another fight right now.
Yeah, but talking spiders are probably worth a lot of money. I could just jump in the wagon and take it off and gallop away.
You can do that, but I'm heading back to the ship.
Yeah, I think so.
Basil would at least suggest that we stop somewhere and top up on food and supplies for the trip.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, I think the boat had some food and stuff on it, but
Yeah.
food and supplies on it, but
Hmm.
he'll make sure they got exploration like the hard rations or something like that, standard rations.
Sorry,
Magic weapons around here.
Plot hit denied.
You guys leave the group here that's talking about their exploits. You hear one of the other spiders say, "Yeah, I wouldn't help him either, but you can help me."
What's in it for us?
What do you want?
Lots of money, lots of riches, power, magic. What else does an adventurer want?
Oh, I have some gold if you wish. Come closer. I will give you a piece of gold.
A piece.
You could show me from there. I have to look with my eyes, not with my hands.
You can see he's kind of pressing himself up against the cage, and there's like this weird looking green scar that goes across his eyes. His eyes, and he puts his little thing. And there's something gold and shiny that he's kind of like showing behind the bar.
He says he's got gold.
You just have to take the latch out and let me out.
Well, is this gold?
There's more where it came from.
If I open this latch and let you out, what's to stop all these people here from catching you and putting you back in? And then they're pissed off at me.
We will be quiet about it.
Do we
We
let them out
won't
or
look.
just keep on going?
I'm sorry. I see very little. I see very few plus sides and a lot of minus sides to this.
Okay. Sorry, friend, can't help you.
And one of the adventurers comes over and knocks on the cage. Is like with a staff. Is like, you guys shut up in there. Yeah, don't listen to these little bastards. All right, don't listen to them.
What the heck are they?
Some kind of spider. I've never seen any likes of it. If you look real close, and he kind of tries to poke through the thing with his quarterstaff. He's like, they got a brain on the back of their abdomen. Look at that. And he's poking at it, and the spider's moving around, like hissing at him. Look at that. I never seen anything like it.
Okay. That's weird as shit, dude.
But luckily, and he taps on it, luckily is you see him, he points to the cage, and the cage has got some kind of runes on it. Now you notice, like around the front of the door, he said, little bastard try to charm me. But nah, he can't. No. Put these wards on this cage here. They'll fetch a good price.
Oh yeah, they're talking spiders.
Yeah. Another reason they don't need to be. Well, anyway. Oh, you don't want to buy one, do you?
No,
How
no.
much?
Oh, talking spider with a brain. I mean, shoot, I don't know.
Cast spells on you.
5,000 gold. I mean, we can start there. I mean, what do you think?
I
Yeah.
think I'm out of here.
Fair enough. Let's get back to the ship.
All right. Well, if you change your mind,
Did you
taking
find any
these,
good weapons while you were there?
I didn't find any weapons. I think somebody picked up
Compliment
some
his
kind of
business sense before leaving.
somebody picked up some kind of axe that was like almost froze their hand off.
Ryan just grits his teeth.
I thought we picked that up.
Yeah, oddly enough, well, Torjohn had it,
Yeah.
is the problem. And I don't think anybody picked it up after Torjohn died. No, we picked up the body. There's absolutely
Correct.
no reason we wouldn't pick up the axe.
I thought I said I was
I mean-
picking up the. I thought Basil
Yeah.
was picking up the axe. I
Mm,
can't remember.
nobody specifically said they'd pick up the axe.
Huh.
Oh well.
Accent.
Oh no, Karn couldn't use it.
Right.
That's right. So Torjohn was using it.
So anything you're looking for specifically? There'll probably be some trading and selling here later today. Once we get everything set up, once we figure out what we got.
Man, I'm kicking myself.
All right, well, adventuring, it's a pretty good life, Look what you can get. If you're interested.
Well, our friend was an adventurer and he just died.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Didn't know he was sick.
He wasn't sick. He got
Oh.
killed adventuring.
Oh yeah, it's deadly. That's one of the negatives. You can die.
It's kind of dangerous. I'd never do it.
I don't blame you. But if you want a talking spider that's got a brain on the outside of its abdomen, you let me know. I got 3 of them right here. I could cut you a deal for all 3. Like a discount. But anyway, you got things to do.
If I didn't have this job, I would take that in a hot minute. Thanks, buddy.
All right. So you guys head back, take the boat, your little boat ride back to your ship. And now you are all together on the ship.
We've
And-
got to go back and get Remy, right?
Yeah, we gotta go back and get Remy.
Clintock just looks around and says, "One less mouth to feed then."
I mean, it seems that way.
All right. My cut just got bigger.
I like the way you think.
Yeah, well, Orion says, admittedly, I'm kicking myself for not trying to pick up obvious loot on the Wagonbow Estate, but
I was under the impression it was all getting sucked down a hole.
well, I was under the impression it would be crawling with guards who might be interested in who we were. So,
Mhm.
I hate it, but
All right, so you guys take your ship back to Omar and Teresa's.
yeah, might
Okay.
as well.
All right, so you take the ship back. It's mid-afternoon. It's kind of foggy. It's about 50 degrees. You dock the ship and go in, and Omar is there. Remy is there, and she, of
Okay.
course, sees you and then tries to count, and she realizes Torjohn is not there, and she doesn't say anything because she already knows the answer and she doesn't want to talk about it.
Okay. That's fine. She doesn't want to talk about it.
So what do we do now? Where do you want to go?
Her eventual goal is to go to the dimensional scar, or whatever that place is, and try to look up, try to find the special vine to help Charlie.
Right.
But we have several members who need to spend some time healing up.
Mhm.
And we did tell what's his name, the big bad adventurer, that
Castle Strong.
Castle Strong, thank you. That if he wanted to join us in the trip, for a final hurrah, we would meet him down in, what was it, Twin River, or
You would meet him in Twin Rivers.
in a certain amount of time.
Correct.
I mean, we should be able to rest up in Twin Rivers, right? I mean, it's a pretty decent town. Should be able to find someplace to hole up for a short time.
Hopefully it's far enough away from the bounties.
It is still part of East and Nor, which is still part of this area.
Yeah.
I thought it was administered by somebody else, though.
No. So Twin Rivers is, I think what you guys are told is fairly favorable to the Ape Empire because it was the outpost that fought the hobgoblins.
Gotcha.
Moglet, which is a town right near it, is basically the town that they sieged. It's part of the Ape Empire, but it has no affinity for the Ape Empire. It is not very, they do not care for them.
Maybe we can lay low there for a while. Disappear.
So if we wanted to, as Synodog say, lay low, what would be the closest place that wasn't necessarily part of the Ape Empire?
So this is all part of the Ape Empire. It's just a question of,
We want to go to the next province or something.
you could try to meet up with Ox, because I think he said they would be at the Na Zega Islands. You could try to meet up with him and the other members and the remaining members of the Thunderous Fury who are hiding out in the islands.
That seems like a good option.
Yeah.
Yeah, regroup.
The Na Zega Islands.
Yeah, because any place that you would dock the ship and go anything, there would be a chance they may recognize who you are or get suspicious if you are there for a long period of time. Because Felix is looking at what? At least 20 days he needs to recover to be full strength.
Yeah.
How long from now?
Yeah.
Supposed to meet him at Twin Rivers? How many days?
Approximately 8 days from now, on the 26th.
I don't think that we allowed a bunch of extra lag time in between.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty straightforward. So I don't think we have really time to mess around if we want to meet the dude. Which probably means that we can either meet up back with the Thunderous Fury or we can do that And I think meeting up with Thunderous Fury makes more sense.
Karn might grouse a little bit, but I don't know if he would object too strenuously. He has his own ailments that he has to tend to, but he doesn't like breaking promises either.
Well, this place has a message system. We don't have. I mean, presumably you can send letters. And Castle Strong is a celebrity, so if we told him which inn and what day, we can send a letter to the inn and just have them pass on a message if the guy shows up.
Clintock pipes up. How faithful do we think this dude would be about not turning us in for the reward? He was on a tour circuit that he absolutely did not care for, which leads me to believe dude was short on cash, because otherwise, why do that?
Why do it? There is that. I offered that as an option, not as a, we should do it suggestion.
I say we just go back to see what Ox is doing.
Well, I'll tell you what. Actually, I will take your suggestion and my suggestion and combine them into a misdirection. We do exactly what I suggest, but we feed him a bad location, time, location, and direction, because we were visibly talking to him. And if the investigators have half a brain and talk to him, he might, as you say, roll over on us.
Am I hearing right? Are you scheming, Orion?
I'm saying freaking alive.
You are, of course, having this conversation away from Karn.
Away from Karn, yes. Excuse me, I'm a bard. We lie. Deal with it.
I thought you just embellished the truth.
Sometimes all that's left is the embellishment.
Ah, okay. Fair enough.
You can probably get Karn to go along with the idea that we're not going to go there right away, but he's going to have to go there at some point and take this road and go after ending this evil.
Oh yeah, I think that we're like on the path because of Remy, and we're hired out to Remy to like actually go to our ultimate destination.
Yeah. But being able
I think
might be good for our recovery efforts.
so. I mean, the Clintock thinks that's a good idea to sort of send the letter to quote unquote to throw them off the path if they figure it out.
Of course, Castle Strong, if he ever runs into us, is going to be mighty pissed off if he wasn't planning on double crossing us.
You have better penmanship than I do, so you should write the letter.
So the answer is yes. We're not just going to stand him up. We're going to misdirect him.
Yep.
We've been called away to the gully of the small. We wanted to let you know that we weren't going to be able to make it. Our apologies.
Yep, exactly.
Don't tell Karn.
You need to make sure you have a little shrug emoji in there too.
You could always tell Karn that we got a letter from Castle Strong saying he wasn't going to be able to make it.
Or I'll just tell Karn that, we gave Castle Strong our apologies that we were unable to meet him at that time. And we would, wish him well in his future endeavors.
I mean, it's not like you could, you can tell him that and see what he says. But I mean, if you showed him a letter and say it's from Castle Strong, he's not going to know any better. He can't read.
He can't read. What is? Never mind. I forgot about that. Whatever. I still prefer to keep my lies at a minimum. You know, fewer details closer to the truth. We'll just tell Karn that, you know, we knew we weren't going to be able to make the obligation because of the other problems we had. And so we sent a letter to the guy to apologize and wish him well.
Just so
But
you
we'll
know, I have
actually
to
send
walk this
one-
road and defeat the undead that are there. I have manifest destiny calling me. To answer the question you halfway voiced, Karn's intelligence is a 7.
Okay. Does that really mean he can't read in this system?
I'm pretty sure 7 is like pretty low. I don't know if it means he can't read, but
Well, technically you're illiterate at 4 to 5 and basic literacy at 6 to 8. But if you want to claim it that way, I suppose nobody's going to care.
yeah, he was too busy learning strategies and memorizing quotes from Cuthbert to be bothered to learn how to read.
Nice.
So as you guys are crafting your plan, when you're there at Omar and Teresa's, Omar says that him and Marcos went into the estate. He said that it was just, there was so much of it that was damaged. He said, but there was some kind of statue in the middle of the arboretum. He said that looked like there were bodies laying in the arboretum, but they were looks like they had moss or grass or vines growing on them. And he said there was some statue. He said it looked like the celestial woman that he saw. It looked like Janelle.
Really?
He said I walked over to it and of course knelt before it, and as I left, I felt stronger in my step as I left. But we found the thunder stick, and he points to the Hurok thunder stick. It's on the mantle again. We found that luckily before all these others had showed up. Pretty much destroyed.
So do we go back and see if the statue can help us with anything, or do we just take off?
I say just peace out.
Right. The longer we hang around, and remember that the total value of our lives now is like, how many of us are there? 30 to 50,000 gold. There's going to be a lot of interest in turning us into cash.
So what you're saying is TTG, time to go. So do we leave now, or are we going to spend the night here? Wait for the morning tide?
I don't see any reason not to set sail this evening. But I will default to our captain.
Does he have a problem with sailing at night?
Zofan is fine with sailing this evening if you guys wish to get out of here.
Let's go.
Too damn many people with too much money on our heads.
Is Remy good with leaving now?
I mean, she really doesn't have. She's very concerned about Teresa. And she talks to Omar and Teresa. Obviously, she's had some time. You would guess you hear some conversation about a local woman who they know who is going to be coming over to help her. And you get the impression that Remy is pretty much paid for that to happen.
So their needs are looked after.
It's good.
Basil Wilberforce stares longingly at the thunder stick. He thought long and hard about stealing that, trying to steal it. But you know, it never does good to steal things from your allies. But his temptation is definitely there.
Resisting his urge.
Yes. He's having a very hard time. Maybe we should go.
So it'll roughly take 5 or 6 days to get out to the islands. Paul, 2d6.
6, 4 and a 2.
So no issues. You guys are sailing down in this waterway area between these islands and the mainland. Every once in a while, you know, you get kind of close to the shore, you can see that there are homes and houses that have like candles lit, like the Festival of Light they've always talked about, that you were, you know, which is customary. You travel for the entire day, the rest of the day. It is a new day. Wes, give me a D12 roll
1.
and give me 2d6.
4 and a 6.
Everybody make a con roll.
Okay.
Karn passes.
Okay.
Basil fails it.
Okay.
Karn got a 3, Basil got a 15.
Ryan failed.
Felix failed, Clintock passed.
Okay. So if you failed, you have a -1 to everything, in addition to any negatives you have on if we do something.
Gotcha.
It's very, very cold this day. The wind is whipping, but it is propelling your craft a lot faster than you expect. So
Basil would probably go below decks and huddle up then.
but you're making pretty good time. So Wes, give me a D6 roll.
6.
Okay. Other ships and you see, but that's it. It's not much of an issue. You guys are out now into the ocean, into the sea of endless time. As you pass the last city of Manance, headed out to the islands. Okay. Also, is anybody going to do anything in this time you're on the boat? Kind of like downtime. You don't have to think about it like give me an answer right this second, but be thinking about like you've got some time. All right, Russell, give me a D12 roll.
Let's see what weather. I'd roll a control weather spell and I conjure up weather. I conjure up 7.
And then 2d6.
A 2 and a 4.
Gentle breezes today and a regular D6 roll.
4.
You are definitely out into the sea of endless time. It's partly cloudy, some gentle breezes. It's in the 50s. It's rather nice. Yesterday seemed to have some kind of strange, unseasonably cold weather, but you guys are making pretty good time.
That's like the one downtime activity that Clintock is doing is he will be trying to fashion a poncho out of presumably like a bag of grain, just like one of the grain bags. He will like try and make something so that he can cover up his Wagonbow like leather armor.
Okay.
You're not going to try to remove the.
You never know when it will come in handy.
Karn's back to the self-flagellation, sackcloth, ashes for telling lies. His pain penance. And Basil's, practicing his thiefly skills to get them up to 5th level.
Paul, D12.
10.
All right, 2d6
6 and a 1. 7.
and a d6.
6. Yahtzee dice. They like to roll high.
Interesting.
Clear day in the 40s. Again, no, you see a few ships out here, but it's uneventful as this trip has been.
Good.
Weird.
Oh, I know what I want to do. Since we've got uneventful days, as you say, I have that feather cloak that we picked up as a magic item. It says I can transform into a wingless bird once per day.
Yeah.
I'm going to test it out and just see what the hell it does.
Okay. All right. Let me find
Warning my so-called friends, so they don't, so that they don't decide that albatross is on the menu or something.
There's a bird below deck. Kill it.
Okay.
No, dodo bird is not on the menu.
Okay.
I would be down below. I don't want to get blown off if I, turn into something that's, a small bird. And the other thing I need to do is if it's variable, I'll try it more than one day and see if I turn into the same thing.
As Orion does this, he turns into a 10-foot tall bird.
Holy crap.
What?
Yes.
Okay.
Roll
So super ostrich.
kind of prehistoric.
Okay. Feathered dinosaur type.
Correct. Yes. So roll a d6.
Or
Okay. So it lasts for 40 minutes.
what's the combat stat?
You get 3 attacks. It's plus, so basically like 2 claw attacks, plus 2, 1d4, and 1 peck attack, like your beak, plus 2, 1d10.
Damn, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's combat effective. Is it using my own hit point?
You get 40 hit points.
Okay.
Your AC is 11.
Easy to hit.
The saves are the same, like you use your saves. But if you drop to 0, we go to death and dismemberment. You don't turn back to Torjohn with your hit points.
Or Orion. Torjohn's dead.
Oh yeah, rest in peace, Torjohn. And it's 1d6 turns. Is that how long it lasts? Roll another d6.
1 this time.
Okay, you try to use it the next day, it doesn't work. But
Okay.
the day after that, it does. So after you use it, you roll a d6. That's how many days you have to wait to use it again.
Okay.
Got to reach.
So after use,
And you can communicate
Roll.
as Orion in this bird form and talk to people, because I just think that'd be a lot of fun.
okay, roll 1d6. Well, so that would be 1d6 plus 1, because I couldn't use it the next day. I rolled a 1 and you said I couldn't use it the next day.
Right. So that'd be 1. So you got to wait at least 1 day, 24 hours, then use it again. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's fine. You could use it the next day. So technically, yeah, 1 day.
I suppose you're going to let us figure out what happens if I untransform while injured. That's a pretty sweet combat form, though. Better damage, better pluses, a lot better hit points than I have. Of course, it's sort of easy to hit. He's a punching bag.
But he can fly.
No.
No,
Uh,
wingless,
Flightless
Wings.
bird. He's got wings. He just can't fly.
flightless bird, right?
You're like a cassowary, but like worse.
Not too far back in prehistory, there was a giant moa that basically would fit this pretty well. It was a 8-foot tall meat eater, so with a nasty beak and a couple of gutting claws. So that's basically what it is.
There you go.
Wes, all right. D12.
3,
2d6.
6, and a 6.
Okay, that's definitely something. Pretty interesting, because in one chart you rolled the chart I made for the weather, wind gusts 40 degrees, and then you randomly rolled 2d and rolled 2 6s, and in the chart in here for the wind, gale or storm. So and roll a d6.
4.
So no encounters there. It is a storm. The ship is moved around, but you guys make it to the islands. You see a boat that has been docked at, in like an alcove where Ox had sort of probably given you some kind of directions, at least to Zofan, since he's a sailor, about specifically where to go. And you see the ship of the Thunderous Fury, sort of camouflage. They've got it, they've got vines and they've got different things covering it. And you got Clintock is at full health right now. He is back at full health.
Nice.
And you guys have just spent about 4 days at sea. Well, about 5. And you guys reach the island. There's as you get close, you can see there's some huts, like makeshift huts set up. And Ox is sitting there. It's got like a bandana across his head. He looks human, sitting up next to a little fire that's burning, relaxing. There is a strange looking, for those of you who've never met him, person standing by like a small little fire off to the side. Looks like burning incense. He looks like an emaciated man, but he's like covered in white paint, wearing like a loincloth.
Interesting.
The ship pulls up and Ox looks surprised that you have made it. Hey, you've arrived. And you see some of the some people, some of the other members of the Thunderous Fury come over and start helping, dock your ship, and they're grabbing some of the foliage to kind of cover it over.
Clintock just says, yeah, I got married. Some other stuff happened. We're not talking about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't too. No wonder why you left.
The widower twin.
But he's now the heir of a great magical legacy.
Yeah, there's that.
He looks like you making it okay here.
Yeah, got to Manance and ditched that ship and picked up a lift here. Let's just say that other crew is answering a lot of questions right now.
Hey, did you hear about the bounty the Ape Empire has on us? Really impressive.
Yeah, I was kind of figuring out how to cash in on that, but haven't thought of any good ideas yet.
Well, I mean, we could always go turn you in, collect the bounty, and then break you free again.
It's like, nah, we'll pass on that. I'm good. Every once in a while, I've only seen 1 or 2 ships kind of pass by here, but the Ape Empire really doesn't mess around out here too much.
So what kind of money making schemes you got going on next? I've been on this boat for almost a week. I'm kind of bored.
Oh, where we're headed. I don't know if we're going to head down, and I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, that's not a good sign from a leader. Indecisiveness.
Wait a minute. We're still whoa. We still agreed to help Remy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely your guys' gig. I don't think I'm crazy about that.
Understood, but it'll be the adventure of a lifetime. Maybe a really short lifetime, but definitely something memorable. Just have to make sure that my notes get out, so the fame lives on, even if we don't.
Better a short life of adventure than a long life of boredom.
You wouldn't happen to know any jobs or other things en route, would you?
Where you guys are going?
Yeah.
No, not yet. Something might come along here.
Okay.
What are you looking for?
Something to make money while we're on the way.
Well, you can always, do the pirating thing and just rob merchant ships.
Say that so loud around Karn.
That sounds like I got to get my hands really dirty, and let's face it, I'm just not interested in that. Do you know of any recently widowed heiresses or anything on the way?
Was that Clintock speaking? Of course it was Clintock speaking.
He takes a look at the ring on his finger, takes it off, and puts it in his pocket.
Oh, well, understandable. You're only married for what? Less than a minute, I think? Minute or so?
60, 90 seconds.
So it sounds like a minute too long.
And to believe I was completely loyal for the entire marriage.
Was it technically a marriage if it wasn't consummated?
Words were spoken. It's good enough.
Yeah, you put the ring on. It works.
Words are wind. It's deeds that matter.
Okay, Karn.
Oh no, that's Basil.
Oh.
You do not want Karn in this conversation.
Figure more the type to run away from the altar there, Basil.
Are you kidding me? I would love to get married, especially to some nice rich inheritance or something like that. A rich heiress would be wonderful. I wouldn't have to work.
Well, you know what's in our futures. There's a blonde, a brunette. There's a blonde, a brunette, and a redhead waiting for us. Of course, they're also shapeshifters.
It was foretold that he would see crisis and liberation, and he thinks he was already liberated from them.
Okay.
Actually, he's got the memory of that, so he remembers that. He didn't forget.
Do you know of any missing / unclaimed caches? I got this new relic here that might help us.
Oh, really? I mean, how long you guys going to be around?
I mean, we should probably get heading that direction. Glances over at Remy. But I think we could make a diversion.
What's the rest of you say?
I like money.
Felix just looks down at his hands and says, as long as it doesn't require me to fight anytime soon.
Yeah, you look really rough,
right.
buddy.
You just tell them they're evil. Karn will fight them. They don't have to be evil. He just has to believe it.
Basil would remember. If there's any magic items or items that you think are magical, Pajari is here. that is the ghost priest, who is, he can identify stuff that you may have. If there's
I think we
something.
got everything done.
I mean, my curiosity is what was the curse on the crown other than it wouldn't come off, but it's not here anymore.
True.
I don't think I have anything that needs identified.
Later on in the day, they've captured like some small like lizards or something that he's got cooking like on the fire and making up some kind of mash, some kind of potato something that he's got cooking up, and like, yeah, we'll have a good feast tonight. That everybody finally, Thunderous Fury is finally back together. So anything you guys want to do here? How long do you plan on staying here?
What's today's date?
It's technically the 22nd.
Well, Karn's going to be at half speed until the 31st. That's why I was curious.
Correct. And Felix will be at full health on the 41st.
Okay.
So you could opt to try to stay here the entire time. That would be like 20 days. Fine with that, if that's what you want to do. Or you could.
Or we could take off a little early and hope.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be in transit for a while, so it makes sense to not necessarily wait the whole time.
What about 2 weeks? I don't know if that's a good idea or not. But I was thinking give Felix enough time to heal. But
Maybe we should consult with Remy or somebody else that knows about any seasonal weather changes or anything that might, like, delaying at all might impact the goal.
Well, what you guys do remember is when Castle Strong, when you talked to him, he said, you're not going to try to, you need to wait till the spring thaw. Because you'll be walking through feet of snow, trying to get over those mountains, trying to get down to where you need to be.
Guys,
Remy's
okay.
Remy's of the opinion, like, she wants to get this done as soon as possible, but it can't be done if everybody's hurt.
Yeah, it can't be done if the weather is so bad that Castle Strong thinks it's a problem.
yeah,
Okay, so then maybe a couple weeks isn't the worst thing.
Yeah, I mean,
if we wait roughly 16 days and spend 5 days in transit, that gives Felix time to heal.
Yeah.
As long as nothing happens while we're waiting here.
If allowed, Felix will just like literally hang out on the ship and not go anywhere else.
Karn would do the same, but Basil could be talked into going places. Short trips.
well, there's not a lot of as far as like towns or stuff, there's really nothing out here. I mean, it would take days to actually go anywhere to do anything.
Karn works on training the dog and healing up and building those bonds, And Basil tries to make friends with the dog too, but the dog looks at him kind of funny.
But the dog knows better. Orion's going to be working on a sort of ballad of the Festival of Lights, a deliberately treasonous against the Ape Empire song about the happenings around the Festival of Lights in the capital.
Are you going to mention Cuthbert in there?
No. Some dark magic were creatures. The plot is some dark magic were creatures took over the mayor's mind and twisted him to pervert the Festival of Lights.
Some werepigs.
Yep, there you go.
Don't forget to mention the Master of Treasuries and how he plotted all this.
Oh yeah, he'll be the leader of the Werepigs.
Karn may have to go back at some point and settle a score about about them maligning the Cuthbert. Maybe this is how his martyrdom goes. He goes back to take it out on the Ape Empire, and they squish him like a bug.
So you do get the impression, at least from Ox, that he's kind of waiting on some information to show up. He's also is a bit concerned about the pirate Baruch, who
Oh, right.
That we upset.
yeah, his last known location was at a place called the Power Station, which is in a different part of the world. But what you know about the Power Station, it is not controlled by the Ape Empire. It's controlled by a person called the Elk Lord. He's basically a crazed gnome that has elk horns, and he creates clay golems. Baruch is a famous pirate. He is what they consider a dead or lifeless azure. Like, you know, the azures have the fire. Well, his fire's gone out, so it's just embers and smoke that come out of him.
Oh, crazy.
And he has a clay golem. Ox is a little bit concerned because they sort of double crossed him and took the ship from him.
Oh yeah. But not to mention the slave. Didn't we
Yeah.
figure out that the slaves
Yeah.
were working with him?
Yeah. He said he's hoping to hear from Thaddeus O'Keefe, which is the most famous pirate that you would have ever heard of, but no one's heard from him for years and years and years.
Okay.
Baruch was basically his first mate. All right, so as you guys are doing your downtime, you're going to hang out here. We'll do some random encounters. If anything happens while you're here in the island, and you know, maybe everything just goes fine and we'll just move on. So, Paul, give me a D6 roll.
All right. 4.
Wes, D6.
6.
Russell, D6.
4.
Okay. And back to the top. Paul, D6. Wes, D6.
6.
Russell.
6 also.
Zofan has now gotten full health, but Paul, D6.
4.
See, Wes.
3.
Karn is now full health. Dun dun dun. Russell, roll D6.
Man, it feels like Karn was down for so long.
Yes.
Well, he was 2.
D20.
I was gonna say earlier, what are the odds that we can go all this time without something?
We got
15.
Give me a D4 roll.
1.
Everything's been pretty chill here. Basil or Karn either has that bamboo flask.
I think it's Basil. Yes, Basil's got a bamboo flask.
During your time here, Pujari walks over to you and grabs it, takes it from you.
Hey,
He cuts his finger and puts blood in it and corks it, and then shows it to you and uncorks it and dumps it out and puts the cork in it and hands it to you. And when you pull the cork off, there's still blood in there.
why'd you ruin my water, man?
Well, your water,
It's full of blood now.
whatever you put in there, it refills itself.
So if I put water in here, it refills itself. If I put whiskey in here, it refills itself.
If you wish.
Oh.
What did he use that to put in?
What would be something good to put in here? I mean,
Well,
it's
healing potions. Healing potions, but I bet it doesn't refill those.
Or does it?
You guys been enjoying the island life here you're on day 9 of island life, island living. It's been good getting the tan,
If you
relaxing.
if you mention it to Orion, he will use a dose of healing potion to test it.
Okay.
Okay. It will take 1 dose. So usually it's, you know, when you have the bottle, it's got 6 doses. It will take 1 dose, will fit in there.
Understood.
All right, you fill it up, and then you cork it and look at it again. Give me a D6 roll.
I just got a 3.
Okay, it's
Your-
healing
your
potion again.
flask. Oh, that's useful.
Yes, it is. But I mean, it's also useful with water if we're in a dungeon. So, but a healing potion is definitely more useful than water.
Yeah. So congrats, you have your own refillable. You have your own refillable healing item. You can now fight Karn. You don't need his healing. Just kidding.
I forgot I had that. I didn't think to have him try to identify it.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it was one of those things on my list. Orion, Flintock,
Yep.
and I don't know, Basil, Wilberforce. You're out collecting firewood, and you hear this rumbling, kind of the ground shake a little bit. And coming out of the dirt and mud is a giant slug. Slug. Like 30-foot long slug.
Oh shit. I know what Basil Wilberforce does.
Run.
That is also what Clintock starts to do in this scenario. He is quite a ways away, but he does pull up his bow just in case he needs to use it.
All right.
Yeah. So does Basil.
Yeah. All my companions are playing Brave Sir Robin, so I will follow them in running away and most
Okay.
critically seeing how fast this thing is.
It comes up and it's like moving on the ground, and then it dives back into the mud and dirt.
Nice. Well, I'm done collecting firewood for the day.
Yeah. Basil has not stopped running all the way back to the boat. And on the boat, he stays. There's 30-foot fucking slugs out there. Y'all go out there if you want. I'm staying right here.
So Ox is like, what the hell is out there?
30-foot long tunneling slug.
Looks like we need a new campsite.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's go.
Yeah. I don't think we have enough salt for that.
All right.
30 foot.
All right. So you guys pack up your campsite and move the ships and everything to a different part of the island. Maybe even a different island.
Oh, different island.
All right. Who do we leave off with? Paul, D6.
1.
Give me a roll 20 center.
Damn it. I had the roll.
Knew it was gonna happen.
15.
Roll a D4.
Uno.
Wait a minute, didn't I roll a 15?
15 and a 1.
What?
Craziness.
Another freaking never mind.
All right. Well,
Another 30-foot long slug.
we did okay, initiative. I did I let you run away from the last one, but you know, it's fate that you rolled it again.
Clintock will go first.
All right, I rolled a 4.
Five.
Yeah, okay. You're up first. So as you move to a different part of the island, sometime in like the mid-afternoon, this slug thing comes erupting out of the dirt in the camp. Pujari is just still sitting there, motionless, meditating as it like comes right up and like lands like right next to him.
Nice.
Why is it always fucking slugs?
Clintock's gonna try and fire an arrow at it with 19
That's a hit.
for 4.
Yeah, he's not hard to miss. He's huge.
Yeah.
You nail him.
Also try and make as much room as possible between me and the giant slug.
Okay.
All right, we gotta do this. I'm a bird now.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Can I attack on the first
Yeah.
turn?
Yeah, of course you can.
The late bird gets the slug.
Yeah. I'll even say, bigger worm than I wanted, but what the hell? Okay. Claw. Miss. And yes, I counted the +2. A 4 is not going to hit anything.
No.
Claw. 14.
Yeah,
4 damage. Bite. Another 14.
that's a hit.
6. So 10 total damage.
Okay. So Orion turns into this bird, starts attacking it.
And just goes ape on the thing. Just scratch, scratch, peck, scratch.
All right. Who else is Basil shooting from a distance, or Karn gonna run in, die evil thing?
Karn's probably below decks at first. They're gonna have
Okay.
a ruckus.
All right.
Cloth and ashes, right?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah, he's gonna run as far as he can away from the thing before shooting his bow.
Okay.
I haven't figured out the encumbrance 30 or 40, but
I'm not too worried about that. The encumbrance thing is more for like when you guys end up somewhere and you're starting collecting treasure and you're getting stuff. I mean, I don't want to make it like D&D and Excel spreadsheets, but it's like,
Right.
oh, I've got 9 swords and I'm carrying 7,000 coins.
yeah, you're not gonna be able to do that and walk, right?
Yeah.
No, but he gets a 19, which I'm pretty sure hits.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The AC is 11.
Okay, 3 points.
So it is being attacked.
And he begins screaming for help from Karn. You'll have to let me know when Karn can hear him and respond.
I think Karn would hear him. So probably the next round, I'm sure Karn could act, because Karn probably has certain acute hearing that he picks up Basil's screams pretty quickly.
Okay.
Is it established that Karn just like lives in his plate mail at all times?
I mean, that's actually an issue because he is in sackcloth and ashes, so he probably isn't in his plate mail.
No, the real thing is Karn wouldn't care, and he'd just run out there.
Yeah. This
Right.
This is a problem. So he hears the screaming.
Anybody else going to do anything else? I know we got. So Remy comes out to the deck and she's like, "Oh my god!" And Crispin like pushes her out of the way. He comes running with his dagger to attack it with his 5. He tries to stab it, and he kind of slips in like the slime that's surrounding the slug.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, "Ugh." But the slug is going to attempt to bite this bird. The dice.
You said AC 11, so really easy to hit.
Yeah, that's definitely a hit. Let's see how much damage. It will be 10 damage. So this thing comes out and bites at you, and feathers go everywhere.
What the hell?
I believe it's initiative 4. So Plentalk went last time, right?
Yep.
So I'll go ahead. 3 + 1, so 4.
You guys are up.
Same song, second verse. We'll see who drops first. Claw. Hit. I'm going to roll all the 2 hits and then roll the damage together.
Go for it. Yep.
Claw. You said that's a total of 11. What did you say its AC was?
11.
So that's a hit.
Yep.
Fight. 14. Hit. Guys, the bird transformation must have done something to Orion because he is going ham.
Clintock's gonna shoot another arrow.
11 total damage.
Yeah, it looks it's hurting. Big pieces of it come slapping off.
Nice.
All right, Clintock arrow.
17 to hit.
Yep.
And 6 damage.
Basil and Karn.
All right, so Basil's getting further away. Screaming his head off the Karn. And he gets a 12. So
Nice.
I did not hit something. 5 points too.
Ooh.
Karn hears the screaming, rubs the Oakseer Drow Saint statue on the head for 2 points of AC.
Okay.
He's not wearing his armor, but he grabs up his shield and I don't know, the Hematite sword's not handy. He doesn't have the scabbard. He pulls up the tongue of Cuthbert, grabs his shield, rubs that thing's head and starts heading outside.
Crispin to attack it. Oh, well, look at that. 18.
Oh, nice.
He drops the 1 damage as he stabs it.
A very precise but ineffectual strike.
Going after the bird. Save versus breath, bird.
Of course. All right. Character sheet says 16. I'm screwed. Especially since I already used my hustle. Oh well. Yep, I'm screwed.
All right, you take 14 acid damage
Yikes.
as it spits out some acid. I believe that's everybody. Initiative. I rolled a 3.
I guess it's my turn.
Basil.
I got 5 plus 1.
Nice.
You guys are up.
I'm going to pull the better part of valor, which is to say, run away. And I'm going to, and just to ensure I don't get trapped alone with the thing, I'm going to run towards my teammate.
A giant flightless bird runs in our general direction.
And you hear, oh shit, it burns, it burns, it burns.
You can speak normally as the bird, right?
Yes, I said that.
Yes,
Yes.
that's Orion's voice coming out of the bird.
Clintock will shoot another arrow with a 14, which hits for 4 damage.
You can't make it to Basil Wilberforce in this round because, but next round,
You retreated twice. Yes,
but
you retreated twice. I am well aware.
he's going to try to get the bamboo flask to you next turn.
I can't take it. I have no hands.
Well, he next round when you get closer, he's going to try to pour it down your throat. But this round, he's going to.
Well, let's wait and see what happens when I untransform.
I got a 15.
Yeah, it's a hit.
Another 5 points of damage. Karn's probably above deck by now, and he is charging into battle.
Okay.
Full abandon. I don't know how long it's going to take him to get close enough to attack.
We'll say next round.
He's running out with the sword and with this whip in one hand, his shield in the other. He's wearing, basically like tidy whities or boxers. He's got a sack over him, and his face is covered in ash. And he's screaming like a maniac.
Crispin stabs it. He's like, all right. And then the thing turns. You see it kind of like it hits it. It squirms and turns at him and spits acid at Crispin because he's right there. That's a lot of damage.
Oh. Or Crispin.
Crispy Crispin.
Remy is not going to be happy.
I got to roll to see. I don't think a 5 save for his breath is gonna make it. Crispin is not wearing armor. He's got like noble clothes sort of on, and he just kind of, as he stabs the thing, he's like, yeah, and it turns and goes and just soaks him and burns his clothes. He's just like, ah. He's still up though.
Nice.
Shit.
It's the new round. I rolled a 5.
Karn, are you in initiative?
I can roll. Yeah. I got a 5, and he gets a 4.
Okay, yeah. Karn, you're right up there. This thing just blasted Crispin, who's just standing there, just like he's in shock.
Wow. All right. Now Karn rolls notoriously low. But I got an 18. The whip is a D6 and a D4, if I remember. Yeah, D4 slashing, D6 electric. I got a 4 and a 3.
Tell me how it does.
Oh, he comes running out there, screaming like a madman. He's a hell of a sight to see. He's just like, going like this, running up at the thing, and finally he just grabs a hold of it. The whip comes down and wraps around it, just below the end of the front of it, and slices and burns its way right through it. Sort of decapitates it if it has a head.
Yeah, it's just kind of like a big mass now, just kind of like, and you cut off its head and just it oozes these entrails just come out everywhere, and there's a horrible smell.
Ugh, gross. Somebody burn that.
Ox is like, I guess we got to move again.
I don't know, Ox.
All right.
If you were any kind of thing that's a predator, would you stick around where this thing was hunting?
That's a good question, Karn. But then the other question is, what if the thing that eats these things is even worse?
And nearby. You make a valid point.
Okay. I'm trying to remember that the character doesn't know mechanics. My character is just going to ask Karn and Basil Wilberforce with his, healing potion to stand by and see what happens when he turns back. If I'm down 24 when I turn back, I'm completely screwed, but the character doesn't know game mechanics. So he's just going to assume he's going to be down about half his hit points or whatever.
Okay, so roll a d6.
6.
So about 1 hour later, you see Orion transform, and you're at full health.
Oh, nice.
Whoa!
Give me another D6 roll.
For how long? Right, for how long it's going to take.
Yeah.
4 days. That's why you gave me the warning about if you go 0, if you go 0, it's going to be a death roll.
Right. All right, Wes. Ox moves to camp.
5.
Okay. It's peaceful the next day. No issues. No giant slugs have attacked. Russell, D6.
2.
All right. Roll D20.
D20. Crap on crutch.
Womp womp.
Don't roll a 50.
20.
20. Okay.
20.
That's probably something interesting. Or horrifying.
Or horrifying.
Roll a D4.
2.
There's a little bit of rain out here, but it's a fairly nice day as you guys are at your camp, and someone who's on the ship, probably on watch, spots another ship, and another ship is approaching. It looks like a merchant ship.
Karn puts on his armor.
Okay.
Orion puts on his armor.
Actually, I think at this point, Karn's probably decided that last time was a little bit too close of a call, and he'll start wearing his armor all the time like he normally does.
Clintock starts climbing up into like the crow's nest of the boat if possible. Or the
Okay.
ship.
And the ship begins to get closer. It can kind of, it's kind of headed in your direction. Now the ships are sort of camouflaged. They've done their best, but I mean, they can be spotted.
Sure.
It's a one-mast ship, very similar to yours. Ox is standing there as he dons his armor, waiting. And the ship kind of pulls up. They put out a gangplank. You can see that there's some people on the ship that are like, manning it. They don't look like humans. They look like, they're almost like trolls. But they're not as big. They're probably like 3 foot tall. The long like nose with the pointy ears and like looks like they got clawed hands and they're just kind of running around. And they throw out the gangplank and some guy gets out in really fine robes, like a really bright blue with like gold trim, and he begins to walk down the gangplank.
How far from us are they?
They're probably like 50 yards away. So you figure like you guys are kind of docked in this alcove, like on the shore, it's tropical, and they're like 50 yards, like a little bit up the way. You can see them.
So have they clearly spotted us or not?
You would think it'd be a strange coincidence that they would dock their ship right here.
Otherwise, okay.
Ready? The welcoming committee.
Well, I mean, even though we're on land, Ox is our captain, so unless he appoints somebody, I'm going to assume he's up in front.
By that I meant, gird your loins, boys. We're going to have to fight.
Pajari is still, of course, hasn't moved. He's usually next to his little incense fire, meditating. He kind of looks one eye at him as he's approaching, then he goes back and starts fiddling through his cards, and the guy walks up and starts talking to Ox.
Yeah.
And then Ox kind of looks and motions for you guys to come over.
Okay.
All right. Clintock will climb down from crow's nest and come back.
Karn comes out. Basil stays on deck. He's got a bow, but he's got it held below the gunwale. So
Yeah, Orion will of course join.
So Ox walks over and to the like little fire and stirs some food that's cooking, and the man introduces him. I am a Dumay. Pleasure to meet the rest of the Thunderous Fury.
Pleasure is ours.
And
I-
to what do we owe this honor?
I seek your employment.
Go.
Are we hiring?
Ox just kind of like taking some kind of stew out, putting it in a thing, just smiling.
What is it you want?
South of here is the Horseshoe Islands, which of course are controlled by hobgoblins, what is left of them. There is a family heirloom that has come in their possession. That is mine, that I wish to retrieve back.
I think we could help. What say the rest of you?
This heirloom is what?
It is a mirror.
Oh, on second thought, maybe not. I thought it was like some jewelry or some gold ducats. But go on, tell me more about the mirror.
It's been in my family for a long time.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, it was taken. It is south of here in the Horseshoe Islands.
And it's just a mirror?
It has certain properties. It is not merely for what is the word? Sentimental value.
Monday.
It's not merely sentimental. It has properties.
And you tracked it to a particular island?
Yes, there is a tribe of bloodskins, hobgoblins, who have stolen it.
Do you have any idea how many there are?
Usually this group is probably 20 to 30.
Oh, that's a lot of hobgoblins. What's the how much is the reward?
Well, I can offer you some gems or gold. I
Okay.
don't know what you wish to receive for payment.
The more gems you have, the more gold you have, the better.
Perhaps magic. Perhaps I could prepare magic scrolls for you if you wish.
I don't know. Do you guys want magic scrolls? And I'll look back at the rest of the group.
And we use magic scrolls if we're not magic users.
Yes, you can. Yes, as long as you roll under the ability score that it requires. I think that's how we decided that.
That makes sense.
They can be nice trumps if they're have the appropriate spells.
Like fireball.
Yes, fireball would be a nice trump. I will suggest that crew talks it over. We can have a little chat ourselves. Ox isn't saying anything one way or the other.
He's listening in. He's thoroughly entertained or just enjoying the conversation and your negotiation. And Dumay excuses himself. It's like one of these little like troll, like hideous looking troll like things comes running over to him and like grabs on his robe, and he kind of looks down at him. Yes, I will retire. I will move back to my ship to attend to some things. When you decide what you wish, then let me know. And the little guy runs off and he follows. Dumay walks off, gets back onto his ship, goes below deck.
Orion's opinion is that honestly, guys, I'm low on cash. I use most of mine on supplies. I wouldn't mind some spending money. And just because there are 20 or 30 hobgoblins doesn't mean we have to take them on all at once. Karn.
Karn will go along with whatever you want. Basil likes the idea of making more money. And when we went shopping back there, he would have paid for, like if you want to refill some flasks of oil and stuff like that, spend a few gold, let him know, and I'll take it out of his platinum pieces.
Out of his stash.
Yeah.
No, Orion likes his stuff. It's useful stuff. But, in order to get useful stuff, he needs money.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said, we would probably stop and stock up on the standard things that we would usually get.
After hanging around you guys so long, I'm no longer used to boredom. Want something to do.
Basil likes the idea
At
of
least-
making more money.
But that's my vote.
And Basil's got a good history with hobgoblins. He likes them.
Lindock, Felix, how you feeling?
Felix is still below deck. He didn't come out during the entire. He is literally just convalescing.
Right, Felix is still healing.
Lintock said,
Right.
I'm happy to go after this mirror and whatever the hobgoblins might have, but I think given that there's 20 to 30, that seems like an awful lot. I'm sure that we can get a significant chunk of change, because we have to kill them all. Then we have to kill them all.
Or we just sneak in, grab the mirror, and sneak out.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, that's what we will do. But what we say we'll have to do, on the other hand, very different things.
Negotiations. Yes, indeed. Sounds like we're in. Negotiate as much money as much spoils as you can out of this guy.
Head back to our friends. We talked it over, and we think we can help you, but there are some complications. 20 to 30 hobgoblins is a lot, and currently several of our crew members have suffered severe injuries and they won't be able to help participate. So we're going to need some more resources to hire out some of the other crew from the ship who are not part of our standard group as mercenaries for this operation, to make sure we have enough resources that we can pull this off.
I love magnificent bastards when they're on our side.
And what is your price then?
How much do you think the mirror is valued?
Mira is probably at least 10,000 gold.
Well, then probably 15,000. Because if I went through the trouble of retrieving the mirror for 10,000 gold, I would just sell the mirror or anything less than that. But since you reached out to us, 5,000.
Orion is not laughing.
5,000 additional seems like the appropriate amount for the fact that we will have to hire some mercenaries and there are going to be expected casualties and we'll need to pay for funerals.
Benefits to the family members, tithes.
Give me a 2d6 roll. Add your charisma.
All right.
I give you +2.
Okay. 7 + 2 + 1, so 10 total.
I will offer you 12,500 gold for this operation, for the retrieval of the mirror.
Okay, so we don't pay for their funerals. 12,500 seems reasonable.
Leave them where they lay.
Missing in action. Who knows what happened?
And when should I expect you return?
Well, how far away is this island again?
It should take you roughly 4 days to get there.
Okay, so adding some labor negotiations, extra 2 days in case something happens. 9 days?
No, 4 days there,
Oh,
4 days
sorry.
back. That's
Yeah,
8.
2 weeks.
So he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a scroll case. He says, when you have the mirror, read the scroll, you will be able to send me a message and I will return here. Appropriate time.
You know, the whole mercenaries thing, I'm gonna need some cash up front. 2,500 seem okay?
Without blinking, he reaches into his one of his pockets and produces a pouch and drops a weighted pouch in your hand. That should be sufficient.
It's in one hand, lifts it, hefts it in the other hand. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Then he looks over at Ox, who's just kind of sitting there watching the whole thing, smiling. And he's like, "You've trained them well." And he turns and begins to walk away.
So now we're recovering lost articles, stolen articles.
Yeah, mirrors. And I suspect if they've stolen a mirror, then they probably have stolen things of more value because if you'll steal mirrors, then like what other things would you steal? Yeah.
This time we don't run
Right.
without leaving the place first.
That's a good point.
We should have stopped for more loot the last time. All I got was a lousy crown.
And then Ox is like, "Well done. That's very well done."
Thanks, Ox. And I will slip him half of the pouch and say, "This is for the finder's fee."
Oh, appreciate it.
Got to keep the captain happy.
So sounds like you guys got a trip.
Seems to be.
Yep.
As far as you know from hobgoblins, there's different clans or cults they're broken into. The Bloodskins are one of the most notorious as far as for being violent.
Gotcha. Good tune.
The bloodskins that Basil ran into. One of them was the outcast that made a friend with him.
I think so. You know what? I think you're right.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
I still wish he had known that acorn would have brought his friend the hobgoblin back. He would have given it to him. He liked that hobgoblin.
All right, that's a good place to stop there.
Nice.
The random roll on the 20 was a traitor.
Oh, nice. Good thing it wasn't
Okay.
a traitor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's a different homonym there available.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was looking, I was like, what is this going to be? There was also a troll on there. I was like, oh, that might be nasty.
Oh, yeah.
Trolls are tough.
Wow. The damn slug was bad enough. If we rolled 4 of those bastards.
Yeah, that would have been zero fun. But bird form, though, is pretty
Yes.
impressive.
Yeah, that was a good call to go into bird form and figure it out. I'd forgotten who had the cloak, and I was like, somebody's got it, but
That's a
Yeah.
tough word.
Yeah, that'd be perfect for something like a magic user. You know, you throw your spell and then, well, actually, a bard is sort of a magic user. Once you've thrown your spell, 1 or 2 spells, you're down to ranged or melee, and that's a hell of a melee option.
Mhm.
Nice little object. I didn't think it was that good when I got it. Sort of more of a lark than anything else.
Yeah, no, I didn't know if you guys were going to go back into the manor. I at least wanted to give you the opportunity. Omar was going to have to go because he had to retrieve the thunder stick.
Wish I'd gone like
Yeah.
loot, man.
I hate not looting the place, but on the other hand,
Right.
You
Yeah, there
know,
was-
guards,
yeah.
the
Mhm.
guards would have showed up. Then a bunch of adventurers would have showed up, and we'd have been in contention with them while trying to hide from the guards.
Yeah.
And we'd had to send Karn back anyway because he's too noticeable. He would stand out like a sore thumb. Oh,
Yeah.
you mean that Cuthbert guy? Wait a minute.
Bye, Cuthbert.
Yeah, and then the spiders were in the manor, and then I just had the adventurers capture them.
Nice.
Okay.
And they were obviously trying to negotiate their way out.
Yeah.
I missed a chance at a role play shot with that because Basil actually would probably want nothing to do with the spiders. I started thinking about that afterwards. And like, wait a minute, Basil would probably just be like, "Yo, Spider Man, I'm out."
Yes, his experiences with spiders. When Paul first
Yeah.
started, like every encounter with his character was
Spiders. You had like 4 encounters, I think, with spiders, man.
yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so you guys are finally got out of there. You got some people back to full health. Zophan's full health. Karn is finally full health.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to go out and get injured. He doesn't know what to do with himself.
Yeah, do this job for this guy, and that will easily get you some cash. Remy obviously doesn't mind, the slight delay, because like she said, if you guys aren't healed, then it's pointless.
Yeah.
Can't start off being
Right.
banged up. Yes, you are correct. The bloodskins were the ones that Basil fought, as I'm looking through my notes. And that was one you befriended.
He was an outcast of some sort.
Yeah.
Like he didn't want to be part of their gang or something. He was sort of forced into it and took a chance to escape when he could.
That was the session that Brendan was there. And he was Mayor Gringle.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
And that's okay. So you guys met Mayor Gringle when he was in the Underdark.
Yeah.
this was when Mayor Gringle first showed up, and of course they took on the hobgoblin ship, the whole ship of hobgoblins in daylight. There was like 4 of them, and proceeded to get their ass kicked. Basil got away, and Gringle got captured.
Oh, that's how we like. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's fun.
Basil jumped off the ship to swim around to the other side to
Yeah.
climb back up
Yeah.
because he was going to try to work a back attack.
Mhm.
Only he kept slipping down the rope when he was
Yeah.
trying to climb back up. So everybody's getting their ass kicked up there. And by the time he gets back up, they've got Gringle was captured, somebody else was dead, and Basil just jumps back into the water again. So it's
Gringle was captured. Gringle was captured a second time in the underground adventure, in the Underdark
Yeah, he
adventure.
escaped from the hobgoblins, and
Yeah.
then he got captured again.
Bad luck.
he was good at getting captured.
Wow.
He was good at surrendering. You're not going to tell us about the crown?
What about the crown?
What was it? Just cursed that you couldn't?
Yeah, it was just cursed. I had it cursed the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't. When Russell said something about it, no, it was cursed when I put it in the adventure.
Oh, I thought maybe like if you got into melee, it would do something to you.
Mm-mm. No, it's just if you put it on, you could never take it off.
Okay.
As far as the axe goes, so I did, I watched the whole scenario. The only reason I decided that you hadn't picked it up is because obviously nobody said anything. And I get it that you're not going to remember everything, but it was very chaotic. Like Torjohn went down and then you were fighting the thing, and then, so that's kind of how I looked at it that way. It was like, it was kind of a chaotic scene.
Oh, yeah. Because
No,
people were trying to
well,
get there and keep from getting sucked into a hole.
well, yeah, and that's the other point is at the moment that the demon died, we were away from it, and as soon as the demon died, we were worried about escaping from a massive,
Colossus.
a massive hole, probably to hell.
Right.
Yeah, I get it.
All right, guys. Have a good
All
night.
right. Thanks, guys. Take it easy.
All right,
Yeah.
have a good
Have a
night.
good one.